What's up, YouTube? Thank you for being here. Thank you so much, Facebook. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm gonna wait for people to get in. The first story of the day is I hold up a piece of paper for the thumbnail. It's not really a vaccine passport, but I want to move on to other stuff because obviously I don't want to, what do they call it? Beat a dead horse or be a broken record. I'm not trying to do that, trust me. But to me, this is such a huge topic. Naomi Wolf on the left knows it. You have libertarians like Dave Smith talking about it. I think everybody's talking about it now. It's more mainstream because the Biden administration is talking about it. Corporations are talking about it. A vaccine passport, we have to. It's bigger than just medical freedom. It's really like a database. I mean, if we give up our autonomous right to be able to travel, drive, go to events without being basically forced or guilted or held ransom for a big pharma product that, by the way, this is not a theory. It's not FDA approved yet. It's emergency use authorized. They're still studying it, although they'll act like they're not because they're liars. I mean, these people are just straight up frauds and liars. And, we'll talk about that. And then I want to say, is it just the left? Because I know a lot of times it's like, it's the Democrats. Like, yeah, of course, they're corrupt. But it's really the right too. I can't find any Republicans that are really taking it that seriously. I think Ron DeSantis is definitely a standout, but we'll talk about it. Second thing I want to talk about is Mike Lindell. I talked about how he said he was 100% sure that Trump was going to be in office on January 20th. That's what he said, like in the coming days. He's like, I'm 100%. Now he's saying that he's going to sue and the Supreme Court's going to take it and Trump's going to be back in August. It's like this dude is he likes to move the goalposts as much as Fauci. So we're going to talk about it. And I have exciting news as everybody's coming in. The hats are back, folks. So these are the white hats right here. Everyone's saying anomaly. When are they back? When are they back? I wasn't lying. I was telling the truth when I was saying I got a new merch guy. We're going to order the hats. We're going to manufacture them. He's going to ship them out, do customer service. And he's way faster than me or the dropshipping company I was using. So these are going to be the new hats. You see the God bless, but they're going to look like this. They're going to have the same thing, American flag here. So when you buy it, American flag made in the USA. American flag on the back. The difference between the two hats, because they're slightly different. So this one that I'm wearing has like a metal thing right there. Some people like it, some people don't. This one has you say what I'm saying? This one has a Velcro. So some people like it. And this seems a little harder than this, but also it's bigger. My one friend who's like my size, he said, I like your hat, but they're too small. Like they're like small golf hats. I like it. I look like a golfer, Tiger Woods. What's the difference? These ones are bigger. So some people are going to like them more. Because there's actually like more space. You see how much bigger they look on my head. So it's more like a trucker style hat. Not quite, but you get what I'm saying. It's going to be a God bless. So white hats are in dreamrare.com. If you want one, I'm ordering, I don't know, 200, 400. I'm not sure. They're limited time. So pre-sale right now. I'm going to post it. And then also I got some more exciting stuff. And this isn't going to be a whole sale, but I'm just pumped. You know me. I've been out of white hats for like 4 months now. It's been quite the travesty. Hold on. Let me try to pin it. Sorry, YouTube. This is what happens when Anomaly runs all his own stuff. You just get, I don't even know if I pinned it. Whatever. Did I not do it? Oh, well. Cry me a river. All right. So if it didn't pin, it didn't. Whatever. These are, I'm going to show you guys, and then I'll show you over here. These are the new hats. We got beanies as well. So black beanies that say God bless on it. And then these shirts too, real quick. You guys can't see it, but it says way too jacked for the gulag, and it's got the Doge thing. I know what you're thinking on Facebook because I got the Facebook. We got almost 3,000 people there. They're like, I can't see it. It's backwards. That's why Anomaly's got your back. I printed it out backwards. It's backwards. Or no, I don't know. Now you can see it. Look, way too jacked for the gulag. These little whatever workout shirts or whatever. The God bless beanies. Listen, I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying the boy's back in stock. It's been too long. So beanies, hats, you get it. Dreamrare.com. I don't want to take all day. I think I screwed up on pinning my comment. Whatever, I'm over it. But dreamrare.com, pre-sale, it's not in yet. Pre-sale, 7 days. I'm ordering it. Then we're shipping them all out. It's going to be faster, better customer service. You get it. Okay, that's enough. All right, so let's talk about what we're talking about. And I want to say real quick, thank you for the super chat, Yvonne. And the stars on Facebook, I've kind of been discriminating. Spoiler alert, there's been some discrimination here. I've been discriminating and kind of saying stuff to YouTube, and I know Facebook gets jealous. I'm sorry, we got a lot of grandmas on Facebook, so we got to refocus to Facebook. But there's a new feature on Facebook where it lets me see who did a star comment. So at the end, if you do give superstars, I'm going to try to say more thank yous and answer more comments because they gave me the capabilities. I didn't know how before, but now they put it there. So, I don't like to discriminate against grandmas. You know me. This is a grandma-friendly zone, and we're going to keep it that way. Grandmas, they're all getting their vaccine passports. They're afraid for me. We'll talk about it. Hopefully we got some grandmas not doing that, but whatever. You get it. I need coffee. Sorry. Is that a sin? Does it say not to drink coffee in the Bible? Because I drink too much coffee and I need to calm down because I would rather not. I like to be a healthy guy, but there's something just about a fresh roast. Who we got on YouTube? What's up, Mary? What's up, Tony? What's up, Tia? We got David. Who we got on Facebook? Jenna said the tank tops. Yeah, we got the 2 Jack for the Gulag tank tops. And we have, there's anomaly ones where it says like censors. I don't know. There were so many. I'm printing things out. I have things in my hands. You know, I didn't want to make it a whole thing, but I made it a whole thing. But you get it. And I want to say this too real quick. I'm about to say a lot of stuff today. And the reason I can is I'm 100% independent. I know, I'm not trying to rag on other people. Everyone's got to make a living. But I know even in the right-wing sphere, not just the left-wing sphere, of course, Don Lemon's a puppet. Trevor Noah's a puppet. You think Trevor Noah wakes up and he's like, hey, I want to do 5 segments about vaccines. I doubt that that's his, his passion in life. I'm sure he just reads the script or else someone else will be there. But you have a lot of puppets on television, but you also have people in the right-wing movement that they're constricted because they work for other people. Like I'm about to talk about Mike Lindell. No disrespect to the guy. I'm going to be as nice as possible. You know me, I'm a joyful guy, but I'm not getting money from Mike Lindell. A lot of conservatives are. I feel like, and I don't know for sure, but they're all doing My Pillow sales. I'm sure he's giving them a cut of that, which is nice. But it's like, nobody wants to say anything because everybody's connected to each other via sponsorships. It's like, I don't want to lose my money. I don't care. I sell hats on a third-party website or whatever on Shopify. So I could say whatever I want. I'm not bragging. I'm just being like, I know so many people that, no, man, I love what you're saying. I wish I could, but I don't want to lose my spot here. And I'm like, that's why the country is going to crapo because everybody's afraid to do anything. So thank you for everybody who buys a hat. You're not only purchasing a cool hat you could wear, but you're purchasing my ability to not have to put up with these other losers who censor themselves / control what other right wingers say, which is kind of why we're in the this mess in the first place. So I'm very grateful, but also, it's a win-win. What's up? We got grandmas out here, holistic grandmas. I see you guys on Facebook. Come on. I got good vision. 2010, better than 2020. That's true story. Anyway, first thing I want to talk about is the vaccine passport. This is just a piece of paper, but we've talked about it for years now. And, I'm not trying to say I told you so. This isn't a kindergarten class, but if you've been following, we've all seen it coming with the medical tyranny. And of course it's here. And now you have, maybe Ron DeSantis is trying to fight it. Maybe a few other Republicans, probably not that many. And we have the debacle of like, how do we stop this / how far are they going to go? And without harping on what we've been saying for a while, thank you guys for being here. I just want to say putting your foot down in some sort of way. It doesn't have to be drastic, of course, peaceful and nonviolent. But I'm just saying like, sometimes just say no. Everybody's like, oh, well, they'll eventually let us free. It's like we have to say no at a certain point. And I think people are starting to figure that out. So, what will we do about that / maybe what I really want to talk about from a different angle is the Republican Party really like ready to stand up for us? I don't know the answer. But here's what I think. Okay, so you shut the country down, right? We all saw it happen for a year. And then all of a sudden, like a month ago, Governor Abbott, a few of the Republicans said, you know what, let's get rid of the mask mandates because we have vaccines. And everyone was cheering, understandably so. I think I'm excited that they did that. But at the same time, I'm saying to myself, one, the liberal corporations don't listen. I was just in Dallas. It was even worse than California. It's like they don't pay attention. It's like you're better off in a red area of California because liberals don't listen in red states. The Miami Heat's in the vaccine only section. Like DeSantis is going to try to fight them. But, one, that, but also two, I want to let Governor Abbott know and Trump and whoever on the right wing, it's not okay to shut your people down for a year, enforce a mask mandate, and then release us when you have a vaccine. Because now, like Pavlov's dog, they just train us. They like submissively train us to say, thank you so much for your freedom because I have a vaccine. And I'm thinking in my head, I appreciate what you're doing, I guess, but my freedom, my constitution, my gym, my beach, my right as a citizen to travel and my, First Amendment, especially, it's not like you can hold me for ransom for a year and then give me a vaccine. And I'm going to be like, oh, thank you so much, Master. Thank you, Governor Abbott. He's trying to act like this vaccine is the greatest thing ever. He's like, dude, I gave out millions of them and, the cases are down. It's like, that's awesome. And I hope they're working, but it's also springtime and summertime. And if you look at infectious diseases around this time, for the last 70, 80 years, I mean, in spring and summer, infectious diseases always go down. I'm not saying that it doesn't work. I don't know, we'll have to see long-term and herd immunity, whatever, how good it works, the side effects. But in general, it's like, I'm not shocked that summer's coming out and all of a sudden the cases are, that's how it works every year. So I'm like, you're trying to take credit. They do this thing where it's like the Democrats go full commie, full medical tyranny, full psycho, and Republicans do like psycho communism light, and I'm supposed to be impressed. I'm not. And also, my thought is, when you do all this stuff, when you give all these people vaccines, like for instance, I think Ron DeSantis, I don't want to misquote him. He said, I gave 75% of the seniors vaccines. 75% of the senior community is vaccinated. I like Ron DeSantis much better than most Republicans. Am I supposed to clap like a seal and say, whoa, wow, thank you so much for vaccinating 75% of our seniors, Ron DeSantis. You're the man. Thank you so much. They needed that. They needed to be treated like animals for a year. You shut them off from society. People can't, see them in the hospital. You're quarantining them like they're, it's doing a number on their mental and physical health. I mean, I know people who've, passed away, gotten sicker because they've lost all their sense of meaning in the world because everything was taken away from them. It's not healthy for elderly people. I don't care if you're DeSantis, Elizabeth Warren, who looks like a cracked out pigeon. I was scrolling on on Facebook, and Elizabeth Warren's face comes up. This is, side tangent, but I just think it's funny. She's like, oh, like she chose the picture. It's not like I'm smearing. She chose the own picture. It's like, she's like, we need to talk about gun control. I'm like, lady, you look like a ticked off pigeon at a Chick-fil-A that I'm like kicking with my shoe because she's trying to steal my fries. Like, this is not making me feel like you should be in charge of gun legislation. We need to talk about, I'm like, you crazy pigeon lady. Like, no, especially with, you look like you belong in a mental asylum. But I forget where I was because I was talking about that. But in general, I don't care if it's Elizabeth Warren or Ron DeSantis. I'm not going to say thank you so much for locking our elderly up for a year until there's a vaccine. You're such a hero. I'm thinking to myself, now Ron DeSantis is going to fight the vaccine passports, right? And this is kind of the game that they play, that Trump and DeSantis got outsmarted. Or maybe it's harder than I think. It probably is. Whatever. I'm a citizen. I don't have to do what they do. I have a mouth. I'm using it until I can't, until they sew it shut, like an emoji, which probably will happen sooner than later. But whatever. It went out like a legend. Anyway, now you have 75% of the elderly community vaccinated. Okay, congratulations. You're the man. Woohoo. Don't you think that they're going to now pressure the rest of society to vaccinate? It's like with the masks. You put everybody in a mask and the maskies turn into like Joseph Stalin. It's like, okay, wear a mask. And I don't know if it makes you feel better. Maybe you spit too much and you need a face diaper or something. I don't spit a lot. I find the mask disgusting. You got people putting them on tables, putting it on their face. I'm a clean guy. I don't do it to be a rebel. Like, I'm dirty. I'm walking around like Pigpen from, Charlie Brown. I'm doing it because it's disgusting, okay? I see people putting their face mask on a table, a dirty table. They're touching it. Kids are putting it on, and then they jam it to their face. I'm like a germaphobe, so I'm not doing it to be edgy. I'm like, quite frankly, that's disgusting. I pretty much kicked myself out of a hotel in Dallas. I just left, but I'm like, they're like, here, put this mask on. I'm like, it touched your hand. I'm not putting your hand on my face. That's disgusting. I'm like, do you have it in a plastic bag? Because that's gross. Like, I'm not one to play with. Okay. I find it all disgusting. But anyway, you do that to people for a year, and then the maskies turn into commies where they're just pointing, he needs one. He needs to be like me. They all need to be like me. So it's going to be the same thing with the vaccine. You have Abbott, Trump, DeSantis pushing for everyone to get vaccinated. And now vaccinated people are being brainwashed with this idea that everyone needs to get it. Oh, it works, but you need to still wear 2 masks. Oh, it works, but, you might still get it. It works, but you might still pass it on. So it works, but you need to wear masks. It works, but you pass it on. Fact check. Oh, you can't even think that or say that. It does work. It just doesn't work. It does work. It just doesn't fully work. I mean, it fully works, but it doesn't fully work. We get it. We're not stupid. You could fact check, you losers at USA Today and these French agency companies. Like, we get it. You get paid to be like little commie, like Joseph Stalin sidekicks to censor everybody who's smarter than you, whatever. But, if you read the fine print, they're not claiming it stops you from getting it, because it's not, and it's not FDA approved. And first of all, if you want to read a good book, read How to Lie with Statistics. It'll explain everything in the last year, all their lies. Bill Gates recommended it. I read it. It's all about lying with statistics, which is what they're doing. It's not that hard. Oh, 3 out of 10 doctors agrees. It's like, this is a game they've been playing for a long time, but whatever. So you have all this data. What they're claiming is most people who get it won't get really sick. They're not saying you won't get sick or get it or pass it. They're just saying, it protects this percentage of people from getting critically ill. It's all a bunch of word salad. So people don't actually think with their brains and just think that it's okay to get. So anyway, the point I'm getting is they're brainwashing people to think everybody who doesn't get it is the enemy of the state. So now that Ron DeSantis is vaccinating half the population or whatever, Governor Abbott's vaccinating half the population, President Trump is Operation Warp Speed. I did it. I'm so fast. It was me, not Fauci, whatever. What do you think is going to happen when 50% of the population is vaccinated? They're going to turn into like a zombie movie, and they're going to be like, anomaly, I know that I'm not healthy at all, and I'm coughing all over the place like a disgusting mucus ball, but you, the guy who's getting super fit and strong and works out and has good posture, it's your fault. You're the one who did it. You're the bad one. So they're going to, it's like you're not really helping with making everybody do this stuff and brainwashing them to think that that's public health. What about, the opioid epidemic? What about that this is being engineered by the same industry that has done all sorts of crazy things, including look into Bayer with their AIDS or HIV pill, that they sold overseas or whatever. I don't want to misquote it because I don't feel like getting sued today, but in general, it's all mainstream news. Like you could look up Bayer, just search Bayer, HIV, knowingly, whatever. I mean, even Morning Joe covered it on NBC, but it's like, okay, what about the fact that J&J and Pfizer, Google J&J bribing doctors settlement, Pfizer bribing doctor settlement, J&J asbestos baby powder lawsuits. These are not the most ethical companies. They've set out lawsuits for things that, they never get really fully held accountable. Have you seen the CDC director? She's a total psychopath. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. She's like this older Jewish lady. And I'm not being anti-Semitic. I'm just being hilarious and honest. But she's like, I'm so frightened and fearful. I'm fearful. It's a pandemic. And I'm like, that's the CDC director? Are you kidding me? That's the person who's supposed to be instilling strength in our community. She's a total bat-ass crazy psychopath, okay? And she's leading the CDC right now. Do you have a solution? Didn't you just give everyone a product? Why are you so scared? Everyone's getting your vaccine and you're freaking out like that. These people are horrible, horrible people. Horrible people, not the best doctors, not the brightest scientists, not the most honest people, the most grimy, backwards people who could climb the ladder of corruption and rot and rust to somehow get that job to be puppet of the year. You think Kamala Harris won a personality contest? Of course not. She's so inauthentic. You could get a piece of wood and paint it, and it could be more authentic with eyeballs and a face. It could be more authentic than Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, in order to get to that position, has to have like no soul. You're like, Kamala Harris, what do you think about the kids in cages? It's like no one laughs like that, lady. No one thinks you're laughing. You're nervous and you have a lot of stress because you're such a con artist that you're like, it's like, just shut up already. We get it. Nothing's that funny. We're talking about serious topics. You're just a psychopath with no personality, because in order to find somebody who would do as much terrible things as she did probably to get to that position, you're not going to attract the best and the brightest. You're going to attract the worst and the most corrupt. So these people are just gross. And everyone's like trying to play this game on the right wing where, I've just been reading a lot where I think I have it over here. I've been showing it off. I'm doing the Lord's work here because Kerry Mullis is not alive to tell his tale. So I'm telling it. I'm not getting paid to do this. I just have Kerry Mullis's book. It's called Dancing Naked in the Minefield. This is the inventor right here of the PCR test. Okay. And he hated Fauci. He said that his test was not made to be used for sickness. It was made to zoom in on molecules, and he invented it, okay? Not the CDC director, not Fauci. They don't invent anything because they're not that smart. They're not that bright. They're not that ahead of their time. They're just government shill bureaucrats who push and toe the line of the pharmacy industry no matter what the science says, and they will go on TV and lie to your faces. So, all of this whole scheme for mass counting asymptomatic cases, using a PCR test, which is also emergency use authorized. I found out that's not FDA approved as well for what they're using it. They're emergency use authorizing it when the inventor of it said that's not even how it's meant to be used. And then they'll fact check you on Facebook, like some idiot loser from USA Today quoting some idiot bureaucrat scientist is supposed to know more about the test that the inventor created. It's like, you guys wouldn't even have this test if Kerry Mullis wouldn't have invented it because he was actually smart and you guys are stupid. So it's like they fact check the inventor. Meanwhile, they couldn't even invent, a poop sandwich or whatever. That was stupid, but you get what I'm saying. So the whole thing is a joke. And the point I'm getting to without rambling is it's never going to go away because none of these Republicans are getting to the bottom of it. They're just mass vaccinating people and then acting like those people aren't then in turn going to try to turn on me. Whatever. I read Revelation. Hopefully it doesn't come soon. Maybe it'll come in 1,000 years and I'm tripping, but I'm mentally prepared to never have to fly again and move to the woods if I have to. And I'm not fear mongering. People are like, Anomaly, you're so fearful. Do I look scared to you? I'm having a blast today. I'm literally just like prepared. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. I hope it doesn't get to that point. I like to think it won't. But at this point, I see the writing on the wall because the Democratic Party is just completely brainwashed and corrupt and sold out. The Republican Party is just like slightly brainwashed and sold out, but they're not actually doing anything. When I say this type of stuff, people don't want to hear it because they like Trump so much. They don't want to assume that him or DeSantis aren't doing everything that they want him to do. So I'm just like, okay, I'm going to enjoy myself, go to the ocean, have a good time, and just prepare for the inevitable because no one wants to figure out why all this is happening at the root level because no one's getting to the core of it. It's like this circus of mass testing, mass tracing, mass ventilators, mass vaccines, passports, pharmacy industry funding, trillions of dollars of socialist communist loans, giving authoritarian power to the governors. It's like, yeah, this is not ideal, but whatever. We'll see what happens. Hopefully people calm down, but it's going to have to come from enough people standing up and just saying, no, I'm not getting the vaccine. If that means I can't fly, I'm not going to fly. If that means I can't go to the Heat game, I'm not going to the Heat game. If that means I can't go to the grocery store, I'm not going to the grocery store. I'm willing to die. I'm willing to farm. I'm willing to do anything. I don't care. I'm not joining the zombie cult society of a bunch of morons who rush to get a product that's not approved from a product that has no liability. They don't care what happens to you because, one, the media won't cover it. They will smear, censor, silence, and destroy everybody who talks about it. When you take a pill, they mention all the side effects in the commercial. Why do they do that? They have to do it or they're going to get sued. They know that there's side effects for these things. That's why they mention them in the commercials. They have liability. They don't want to get sued. With vaccines, they have no liability. So first of all, they don't even have to mention the side effects. And second of all, if you even suggest that it happens, because it's obviously happening, they smear you off of media. One, they don't have to pay you. And two, they just get it. Let's just pretend like it doesn't even happen at all. It's just a crazy kooky conspiracy. No, if they had liability, they'd have to tell you about every side effect that you have. Because if they had liability, they'd get sued. But they don't have liability, so they don't have to tell you crap. They just have to, they can lie to you about FDA approval. Jen Psaki went on television and lied about FDA approval. It's not FDA approved. It's a fact. It's on the FDA website. She's not saying it's emergency use authorized. She said it's FDA approved. She's a liar. Who fact checked her? I did. No one else, because they're not real fact checkers. They are propagandists, con artists, shills for the establishment, and they're trying to funnel everybody to this product. And for people that are getting it, good luck, God bless. I'm sure you'll be fine. But I watch enough television when I'm home with my family or seeing stuff. I don't watch in my personal life that much, but I've seen enough commercials to see what they think of you. They don't care about you because you'll just be another commercial with another lawyer, Bernstein and Bernstein Brothers, who will say, hey, did you take the product that we used to tell you about? Did you take the baby powder of Johnson & Johnson that we told you? Did you take this? Did you take that? Did you take this? Then you might be liable for this type of damage. You might be liable. You'll just be another commercial in 15 years. And everybody who tried to tell you the truth or warn you that it was a possibility that you called kooky and crazy, those are the people who actually probably care about you, not these companies that will line you up like a sheep on a conveyor belt led to the slaughter or a chicken at a factory farm. You know, they're just pushing you, billions, trillions, Amazon growing, government growing, get in, get it. And if something happens, oh, wait, they don't even have to give you a commercial in 10 years because they don't have liability. Isn't that convenient? Man, if they had liability, they'd need that commercial in 10 years saying you might have, had something bad. But now they don't even need to. So I guess they could just pretend like it never happened. Maybe they could call it COVID or the second strain. Who knows? I mean, the possibilities are just totally endless to what can happen. But I'm sure everybody will be fine. I'm not tripping about it. But me personally, I'm not on pills. I'm not on opioids. I don't take drugs. So I don't want the drug industry that's notorious for the opioid epidemic and the obesity epidemic and the food pyramid and all this other bullshit lies because they were sold out to big agriculture and big pharma, and they constantly lied, constantly got caught, constantly sold out, constantly settled out, constantly admitted they lied, constantly been caught, constantly been caught. I mean, it's one of the most unethical industries on the planet. I don't want it to be forced into my freaking body, you psychopaths. So we'll see what happens. But the more people they get, the more they're going to turn against people like me who, want to just not do it. I have no problem with pills. Okay. I know people that are on 4 or 5 pills. I think it's a little much, but in general, whatever. If you need it, you need it. But the real thing they don't want to tell you is like certain pills and medicine are awesome. Western medicine's great, but really the truth is like certain things you got to work out. You got to get better. You got to get in a better mental state. And a lot of that is unnecessary, in my opinion. And then if you need to take, you need to take it. But it's easier to tell people, okay, you're overweight, your heart disease, your blood pressure's up. Take this, and this, because they make a fortune on it and they bribe doctors. They've been caught bribing doctors and they spend money on record to buy out the medical industry. Like that's what they're doing. It's a big money scheme. It's the same with insurance. So it's not my theory. It's not like I'm making all this stuff up. It's all out there for anybody who reads. Like I don't have to go to Alex Jones to read this. This is on like Bloomberg, the Justice Department website, the FDA website. Reuters did an investigation into Johnson & Johnson, and not me. Reuters said that they knowingly had asbestos in their baby powder or talc. That's Reuters. Reuters is the most mainstream, website on the planet. And even they're admitting or saying or suggesting that Johnson & Johnson's complicit. And you're going to try to pressure me to get an emergency use authorized, not FDA approved shot from the same company that's in court right now for asbestos in their baby powder, and you're going to try to shame me for not getting it? Not me. You picked the wrong guy, because I'm a nice guy, but I'm pretty stubborn when people start getting in my face and stuff, and you're getting in my face. So we'll see what happens, but I will pass. If you want to get it. But this idea that I'm going to be a slave in this society because people are too stupid to have a mind of their own, I don't have the capacity to put up with this. It's not in my DNA. So this is definitely my issue to stand firm on. Second thing I want to talk about real quick today. Thank you. YouTube, we got 1,000 people. Facebook, we have 3,000, 4,000. Real quick before I get into this, on Facebook, you guys know that they've been messing with me, certain picture posts. I run into people in person and they say, Namli, I haven't seen your post for weeks. Even amidst whatever they're doing to me on Facebook, I still hit the top 10 list this week for most shared links. I had a link get like 50, 60,000 shares one day, and they said I was on the top 10 list. And I have to say, just to document history, because I'm not in the media, I'm not in any big right-wing outlet, and I'm glad. I'm just saying I want to document it here. Facebook's the biggest social media platform in human history, and United States is one of the biggest, media countries on the planet. I was top 10 out of anybody. The Rock, Arnold Schwarzenegger, CNN, I don't know, Fox News, like top 10. That's pretty crazy. No manager, no label, no big business. I'm very excited about that, but also I just want to document it because nobody else will. So even amidst whatever they're doing, we're still crushing it, still putting up huge numbers, and still winning, and we'll continue to win because now I'm selling hats again, dreamrare.com. I'm bringing the hats back. Once I start making hat money again, you think I'm confident now? It's like Kanye West. You can't tell me nothing. Wait till I start getting the hat money back in. Ooh, I might just put on a gold chain and then sell the gold chain because I don't want to floss too. I'm just kidding. But you get what I'm saying. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, so Mike Lindell, you guys know him as the MyPillow guy. He's a great salesman. I always say he could sell water to a whale and salt to a snail. That's a good salesman. Whales in the ocean. He comes up, hey, you know what you could use? You could use some water. Do you need some water? And it's like you get what I'm saying? A good salesman could sell water to a whale. Thank you. And then they turn around like, oh man, I just got ripped off. And salt to a snail. You get it. You're smart audience here. Okay. So Mike Lindell, I called him out, and I like to be nice because he seems like a nice guy. And let's be honest, he's got a really good mustache. Okay. So anybody with a mustache that's that superior, I like to respect. It's like, listen, the guy's got a thick mustache. He's got nice smile. Like, I get it. Okay. I get the appeal. He's a nice guy. He's got pillows. I'm going to do a MyPillow review, an honest one, because he's not paying me. So if it sucks, I'm going to say it sucks. But anyway, this is what he was saying in January. I believe this was after the whole Capitol thing right around then. And this is what he was saying. Here, I'll play the clip real quick.
100% Donald Trump is going to be your president the next 4 years. Donald Trump.
So, and Mike Flynn was saying that they were kind of like, you know, misleading and carrot string in front of the face to patriots saying Trump will be your president. And my problem with it, if you're optimistic, that's fine. It's not a big deal. But there's a difference between being optimistic and lying. There's a difference between being wrong and being authoritative figure that's lying. If I'm in the White House like Mike Lindell is, you get what I'm saying? And I come out and I go, guys, I'm 100% sure Trump's going to be in the White House. You're going to believe me because I just hung out with Trump. And why would I lie to you, right? That's anomaly. That's Mike Lindell. That's my boy. He just saw Trump. Oh, it must be true because he's an authority figure. So it's different than just lying or being wrong. Like Mike Lindell's like, haha, I just left a meeting with Trump. Haha, he's going to be there 100% sure. And I was just like, Mike Lindell doesn't know what 100% means. You know, I'm not trying to be mean, but 100, like, does anybody do gambling or like Texas Hold'em? If you're 100% to win the hand, it's over. Like, you don't even have to play the cards out. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's 100%. 98% is not 100%. 90% is not 100%. 1% is not 100%. Like, you can't be lying about this, or you can, but I'm not buying it. So this is him recently. He's now saying he's suing and it's going to get to the Supreme Court, and he's claiming Trump is going to be the president in August. So if you're wondering where this QAnon stuff is coming from, that keeps moving the goalposts. Oh, March, Trump's coming back. It's people like General Flynn and Mike Lindell who are authority figures who keep pushing the goalposts back and back and back. And this has happened 100 times. They make a prediction, set a date, lie about it, and then arrogantly get ticked off at you for saying it. They're like March. How many people saw those people who are like, March 4th, I'm 100% sure Anomaly's a shill. Anomaly's working for Mossad. Anomaly's a Mossad agent because I know that it's March 4th. And I'm like, you guys are such liars. But okay, March 4th, let's see what happens. And then it's March 6th. And then literally like people are like, I'm like, what happened on March 4th? And they're like, what do you mean March 4th? I never said March 4th. Oh my God, Anomaly's an agent. I'm like, everyone knows you said it. What do you like? You guys have to have a friend like that where I'm like, we saw you say it's okay. Just say you were wrong, or just like they're like, we would never say that. So here goes Mike Lindell again. He's saying Trump's going to come back in August. Let's hear him. I mean, I would like to think he knows what he's talking about, but I've heard him lie so many times now. You know, I know he doesn't know what he's talking about, and he just won't stop. Let's listen.
What I'm talking about, Steve, is what I have been doing since January 9th. All the evidence I have, everything is going to go before the Supreme Court, and the election of 2020 is going bye-bye. It was an attack by another country, communism coming in. I don't know what they're going to do with it after they pull it down, but it's
hang on a second.
Hold on. Donald Trump will be back in office in August.
All right, so I just want to show you the signs of like a pathological liar. I like Mike Lindell. I'm just going to have to call him a pathological liar. And I'm one of the few social media influencers. Like, I'm not doing My Pillow ads, so I don't have to lose any money over this. I don't really care. It's like he says, I don't know what they're going to do. I'm not sure what they're going to do about it, but Donald Trump's going to be back in office in August. Like, bro, do you not know what they're going to do, or do you know what they're going to do? He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just like addicted to pathologically lying to Trump supporters and getting their hopes up and then shattering them and selling more pillows. So I'm gonna play this again real quick. He says, I don't know what's going to happen, but Trump's going to be your president for 4. It's like, either you know what's happening or you don't know what's happening. Either you're 100% sure you're not. He's a salesman. He's selling you a lie.
It's going bye-bye. It was an attack by another country, communism coming in. I don't know what they're going to do.
I don't know what they're going to do.
Hang on a second.
Hold on. Donald Trump will be back in office in August.
So he said to Mike Bennett, Donald Trump will be back in office in August. And it's funny because like we don't have a lot of leaders on the right wing. You know, we don't have a lot of people supporting the president. Like, it's counterculture. So I get why people cling on to Mike Lindell, but it's like the dude is a pillow salesman. He's an infomercial television salesman. And I'm not knocking it. I'm just like a rapper with long hair. Like, why would you trust me, or why would you believe me? You know, I understand the dynamic of like, who are you? I get it. But it's like, it's not like this guy, like he sells things for a living. He's a salesman on an infomercial, and he's a former drug addict, and he's acting like a drug addict right now by constantly just lying to people, setting fake goals, setting fake expectations, being wrong, and no one cares because they love President Trump so much. So I feel like you know, that's what the movement's become. A lot of people on the Trump side, I don't think they don't want the tough truth. They don't want the understanding of like, okay, well, it didn't happen. So here's what we have to do. We have to regroup, we have to refocus, and we have to do something. That doesn't sound good to people. They'd rather cling on to like ex-drug addict, you know, crackhead infomercial salesmen who just constantly go on right-wing news, sell their product and say, buy, 66% off, 66. Trump's going to be there for 4 more years. I'm 100% sure. No, I got it. It's coming. It's like, no, bro, you've already been wrong 4 times. I was nice to you for 5-6 months, but stop lying to MAGA grandma. Stop lying to the Q movement that thinks you're like an authority figure. And I have to say, I'm going to bring it up again. I have a whole video on it. I bought this book because I was talking about it the other day. It's called New Lies from Antony Golison. Sorry, I'm bad with other languages. It's an ex-KGB officer who warns about communist deception threatening the survival of the West. In this book, I've actually been reading it myself to make sure it's legit because I quoted it for a video I did. It talks about Operation Trust, and it's the same thing Mike Lindell is doing. So either he's like a moron or he still has that crackhead energy in him. No offense, I'm just being honest. Or maybe he's like lying purposely. I hope not, but you know, maybe he just likes the attention and stuff, and he's just really dumb or naive or, you know, desperate. But this is a thing that they did during the Bolshevik Revolution. They gave people authority figures and military members like a General Flynn, and they told them and deceived a bunch of patriots in Russia, don't worry, trust us, trust the plan. We have it taken care of. You see all this communism happening, everyone saw it, and they're like, oh, no, the patriots are in control. It's the same thing. If you read the chapter like I did, it's eerily similar where you almost get goosebumps because it's like, that's exactly what they're doing now. And everybody's like, but Anomaly, would General Flynn ever lie? Yes, because I've caught him lying, but in general, I'm going to assume he's a great guy, and I always give people the benefit of the doubt, but this is not an unheard of strategy. They give you people that they know you'll trust and then sell you this lie that it's going to happen. And people are like, well, what good would that do? Well, just think about it. If you have 1 million people who are, instead of like actively understanding, well, our country is under attack, or rather our country is being subverted from the inside, lockdowns, quarantines, if you could drag it out for 4 years, and as they're taking everything, vaccine passports, ripping out hundreds of thousands of businesses like they already did, nobody's really getting that upset because they trust Mike Lindell and Trump and General Flynn, and these people are just like really gonna, any day now, Trump's gonna come back in August and save the day. It's like, this is the exact strategy they did during the Bolshevik Revolution to subvert the Patriot Freedom Movement from doing anything about it, because a group that thinks it's already being done behind closed doors won't actually stand up for themselves. They sit there and eat popcorn like the Q and Mike Lindell fans and say, man, I bought 7 pillows, even though they're uncomfortable. You know, I like this guy. It's like, he means well, kind of, but at a certain point, like, I think people need to hold these people accountable. Like, why do you keep lying, dude? Why did General Flynn say he was 10 out of 10 sure Trump was going to be there on January 5th? Why did he say that? Why is he okay to look into the camera and tell Trump supporters a lie? And everybody just thinks it's cool because they like him so much. It's like people would rather be lied to. I like Trump, but like, why? I would expect people not to like me if I was like, guys, I just got secret intel. From the Space Force that Trump is going to fly to the moon. He's going to sit on there and he's going to fight China from the moon. Like, maybe people would like that because it sounds like a fun thing that would happen. But, you know, at a certain point, if I set a date and it was wrong, I wouldn't expect everyone to like be still loving me. I'd be like, yo, Anomaly just lied to us. You know, like, you as a person should question people who do that type of stuff. You know, it should be like, what? Meanwhile, like, I make mistakes too, but I'm just saying, last March, I said vaccine passports are coming. My predictions were all right because I saw it coming in because it was obvious. All their predictions were wrong. They were lying. Trump's going to save you. Trust the plan. The pedophiles are on Guantanamo Bay. Any day now, it's going to happen. Drain the swamp. The swamp didn't get drained. We got drained. You know, Hillary didn't get arrested. Trump supporters got arrested at the 6th. The FBI didn't do some investigation on Hunter. They did it on Trump supporters. You know, everything that they said was going to happen to the bad guys ended up happening to the good guys, and the whole country got locked down. Capitalism got drained. Communism didn't get drained. The free market got drained, but, you know, the bad guys didn't get drained. That's just reality. I'm not trying to be like a negative person. I have a good time. You see me, I have a smile on. But in general, it's like, that's just what happened. I didn't want it to happen. 2019, did I think all this was going to happen? I knew medical tyranny was going to get bad, but I had no idea it was going to get this bad. I mean, even my worst prediction, to be quite frank, wasn't even as bad as like lockdowns and quarantines. That's like a nightmarish prediction. So I saw it coming, but even I was blown away by how bad. So the point of getting to is like at a certain point, reality sets in and like, wow, this is what happened. But people are making movements, Mike Lindell included, and General Flynn being the ringleader, and people who are still pushing the trust the plan, the military's in control hoax. They're doing it because, one, they get a lot of attention from it and get a lot more money. Like a lot of these people that are pushing it were nobodies, and that's their thing. So if they drift from that thing, they lose everything. But also, I think people are scared. I think people, and I've heard this from these people, is like, they were scared to admit that it wasn't happening because it was like in their head, either Trump was going to save their whole life or they were screwed, which in my opinion is kind of cowardly. It's like, listen, Trump didn't go the distance, but now you have to do something. Like, it's not the end of the world. It's only like cowardly people are like, either he's going to save me or not. Like, what? You can't do anything yourself? I just find it weird. Like, they think it's so virtuous to be that, that into this stuff. So, in general, we'll see what happens, but they keep setting these dates, March, August. Like, why would Trump come back? And I just want to play the clip again real quick. Just like psychologically, I'm not even talking about Mike Lindell. This is a sign of a liar. He's not claiming he knows things. He says, I'm trying to sue, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen when it all falls down, but Trump's going to be there. And so either you don't know what's going to happen or you know what's going to happen. He doesn't know what's going to happen, but he gets off on every time he says Trump's going to be there. Millions of Trump supporters say, oh my God, thank you so much, Mike. You're a patriot. I'll buy pillows. Thank you for supporting the president. So he gets off now on like telling Trump supporters that he knows what's going to happen. And he's time and time been proven wrong.
And the election of 2020 is going bye-bye. It was an attack by other country, communism coming in. I don't know what they're going to do with it after they pull it down, but it's
so the first thing says, I don't know what they're going to do when it's getting pulled down. I don't know what they're going to do when it gets pulled down. He doesn't know. And then he says this.
Hang on a second.
Donald Trump will be back in office in August.
Donald Trump will be back in office in August. He says, I guarantee you in September, Trump won't be back in office. He'll never apologize. He never has. None of these people do. They just keep moving the goalposts. If you want to check out this book, it's very thick. I'm not going to lie. I haven't read the whole thing. I'm actually reading the Carrie Mullis book before this one, but you should read the part about Operation Trust in New Lies for the Old. It's an old Bolshevik scheme because, they call it the Hegelian dialectic too in some places. So I dropped my hat, but, controlling both sides. It's like, if you can control the left is totally compromised. What's the left doing? The left is done. The right, you have this big patriot movement. Well, now you don't have this big patriot movement because these people are sheep herding patriots into thinking it's all happening. And then you have people like Trump, who everybody's attached to, starts selling vaccines, locks the country down, loses the election. And now you have a movement that's in shambles following Lin Wood, Mike Lindell, Sidney Powell, and Trump. And it's like, I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news, but at a certain point, I'm like, you're not my leader. Like, I don't know who you guys are leading, but I'm not really impressed with that. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to read this super chat real quick, and then I'm going to read some on Facebook. Mary Flash said the UN's 2010 proposal of Healthy People 2020 and actual sector of the 2030 introduced mandatory vaccinations by 2020. What a coincidence. I'll have to check that out, Mary. But yeah, that's the crazy part. A lot of this stuff is like all there. They plan it, they orchestrate it, they organize it. They say, here's what we would do if this happens. And then it happens, and then they roll it out. And then they said that they never did that. These people are playing 5D chess for sure. And, I don't know why there's not more people who try to just watch what they're saying publicly. Let me try to get some of the star comments real quick. Let's see if it'll load on Facebook. Thank you guys for being here. And hopefully I could give some star comment shout outs. It's just like a little slow to load, but maybe I'll have to bring it up. Let's see. Top star senders. All right. It shows me the top star senders. Delphin Marie said with a thank you for the super star chat. She said, I appreciate your unbiased thoughts. Many people have good intentions. However, their view on current and past situations have become bent either one way or another. Furthermore, let me read. Furthermore, if they do have a solid based opinion, they tend to lack moral conviction. So I want to say thank you for simply being you. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate the superstar chat. Alchemic, I mean, I should probably just do the positive comments, but Alchemic Truth said this guy's a tool. Alchemic Truth, I'll give you the floor. I don't have to, but I like a good debate, like when Charlie Kirk stands up there, whatever. Tell me what you disagree with, because I see you saying negative comments, which it doesn't bother me. I'm not like a fragile person, but give me like an actual argument. Okay, I'm a tool. I mean, maybe you don't like my shirt or something. You find it a little too flashy, whatever. Give me what you don't like about what I'm saying or what you think is so wrong, and you tell me what you think is so right, and then we can go from there. Because if you're just hating on my shirt, you know, it's a spring day. Listen, I like to get some sunshine. Someone said, I'm still a supporter. You still getting your $5? Yeah. And what's today? March 29th. After this, I'm glad you reminded me. I gotta do a live stream for the Facebook supporters. It's been a crazy month, but I'm still on that. So if I'm doing one today or tomorrow, or maybe the next day, tomorrow, the next day, or else I'm doing 2 in April because I'm behind. But thank you for reminding me about the supporter thing. All right, let me see if he answered. And real quick, guys, once again, the white hats are back. The God Bless hats, they're back. Made in the USA. Dreamrare.com. They're pre-order. These are coming back. God bless. You see those right there. They're beanies. That's a first of a kind. 2 Jack for the Gulag. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Tank tops. I know YouTube. I get it. It's different for you guys. I got that too. 2 Jack for the Gulag. God bless hats. You already know what it is. I should just actually have the shirts or the hats, but I don't know. You get it. It's a presentation. Cat Lives Matter said Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla donated almost $100,000 to the Republican Party in 2020. It's an interesting fact. I'll check that out. But yeah, I mean, Trump hired, and I'm not trying to be mean, but if you want to understand why this is all happening, I could explain in some cases to people. Thank you for, stuff like that is like people are like, oh, wow, maybe that explains it, where I try to say it and then people close their ears. And then when I like, what, tell me why? And I'm like, you don't want to hear. So, with that type of stuff, why is the Republican Party doing so much? Well, the pharmacy industry is one of the biggest lobbyists to the right wing and to the left wing. So they've been lobbying both sides of politics for 10 and 20 years. And it's the same thing with like certain people like on the left. Everybody talks about George Soros, right? George Soros is giving money here, here, and here, and they try to say it's anti-Semitic to say that. It's not anti-Semitic. It's just true. George Soros is a billionaire, and he likes to get involved in politics and currency and pretty much everything. I mean, he's not the most popular guy worldwide because he's always putting his hands in everything. And on the right wing, there's a donor just like George Soros who recently passed away, rest in peace, which is Sheldon Adelson, okay? So Sheldon Adelson's giving all this money to the Republican Party. The Republicans are just as much compromised as the left, and both parties are sold out to a foreign interest. And when I say this, people act like it's hate speech. I'm going to say it now because until people understand this, nothing's going to make sense why nobody's protecting America. It's because there is no party in this country that is America first, not a single one. The left is sold out to everybody. They're demoralized. They're just a complete shell of themselves. And on the right wing, they serve Israel, okay? They don't serve America. So they're passing speech laws for Israel. They have big Jewish donors who care about Israel. When Trump pardoned Israeli spies and they went back to Israel, like Jonathan Pollard, he said for the news, I have dual loyalty. I'm Jewish. Every Jewish person should have dual loyalty. Why wouldn't you? If you're a Jew, you should do things for Israel, including spying on America. Who cares? We're Jew. Like, that's pretty much what he said to the paper, okay? And Trump and DeSantis and all these Republicans, whether you guys want to believe it or not, are passing speech laws, and Shapiro, of course, to say you can't say that. They say it is anti-Semitism to suggest any American Jew has dual loyalty. They say it's an anti-Semitic offense. It's not anti-Semitic, it's the truth. Jonathan Pollard had dual loyalty. Sheldon Adelson has more than dual loyalty. He has more loyalty to Israel. If you look at Biden's staff, imagine every Jewish person in Biden's staff was Chinese or Muslim. The right wing would be having a conniption. Oh my gosh, China's taking over. No, they're all Jewish, okay? I'm not being mean or anti-Semitic. I'm just being factual. You guys think it's so trendy to point out black crime. It's like, well, 12% is doing 50% of the crime. What if 2% was doing 80% of something? Would you guys notice? Of course not, because they're too busy passing speech laws for them. They're passing speech laws for Zuckerberg and Susan Wojcicki and Blinken and the psycho CDC director and all these people making laws to say you can't question them. You can't question their loyalty. You can't say they're doing this. You can't compare Israel to Nazi Germany. That's one of the speech laws that DeSantis passed in schools. That's one of the speech laws that Trump and his groups are pushing to pass on a national level, that you can't compare Israel to Nazi Germany. I love Israelis. I have no problem with Israel, but I'm not a big fan of their two-tiered vaccine system. If I could call Trump a Nazi and I could call Hillary Clinton a Nazi, why can't I call a foreign country a Nazi? Do you know why? Because they run our country, not China, Israel, okay? And I have to tell you this, because until Republicans understand this, you're never going to win anything, because you're serving a group of people that don't care about you and don't care about this country, because they have an ethno-state for themselves somewhere else. And I'm not saying every person of that ethnicity, but the big wigs, the billionaires, and the people funding your party don't give a crap about you. They don't care if this country burns to the ground. And Nancy Pelosi said that at an Israeli conference. She said, I'll still give aid to Israel even if America's capital crumbles to the ground. And when they say that, they mean it. They don't care about you. There's a reason this country is completely subverted. If you go to Russia, okay, Putin is a psycho and he's definitely like kind of a dictator, but he actually cares about Russia. China cares about China. Nobody in America cares about America. They're imploding this country to the ground, and nobody seems to be able to figure out why. Well, Trump's fighting the pharmacy industry. No, he's not. He's funding the pharmacy industry. Well, DeSantis is fighting, kinda, but he's also passing speech laws to stop you from talking about most of the people who are doing this to you. So how are they really fighting? They're not. Both parties are sold out, and not just to China. Is China taking over the country? Of course. But if you thought every person that wasn't Chinese was Chinese, you'd lose your mind at how many people of a different ethnicity are doing this for a specific reason. And this is not everybody. And everybody misconstrues it. Oh my God, that's so hateful. That's so mean. I'm not saying anybody, everybody. Most people in this country, regardless of their ethnicity, just want to be safe with their family. There's a lot of Hasidics in New York that don't want to be mass vaccinated. And then you have Shapiro, who does want a vaccine passport, or he does want a vaccine mandatory. So it's like there's different sects in these. I'm just being honest. It's like there's speech laws being passed in this country for no other reason besides the fact as they're implementing a slave tyranny and a medical tyranny with a vaccine passport and a social credit score, most of the people who are at the top of these organizations that you hate are a certain ethnicity. It's just a fact. And they're passing speech laws so you can't question them. So when this all happens and you're just a slave and a peasant, your First Amendment doesn't exist anymore, because Republicans and not just liberals are passing through these psychotic speech laws which limit your ability to talk about powerful people. And you should be able to talk about any stuff: race, religion, gender. That's the First Amendment. If you don't have it, you don't have it. And we don't have it. We lost it last year and we continue to lose it because neither party is doing enough. And I just don't care anymore. I've never cared. I've said this 1,000 times, but I'm saying it more directly now. And, if you get too close to home on the left wing, they call you a racist. Oh my God, you're a racist because you don't want crime. Who wants crime? Who wants their Asian grandparents to be constantly attacked in the city? Who wants Uber drivers that are immigrants to be jacked in DC? Nobody wants crime. It's not racist. It's not xenophobic to want border security. So when you get too close to the truth on the left, they call you a racist and a xenophobe. You're not a racist. You're not a xenophobe. A lot of people who think that way are the race that they claim that they're protecting. It's just basic common sense. Border security, safety, no crime. That's what anybody wants. Why would anybody want to live in a ghetto? Why would anybody want to live in a high crime area? Nobody wants to do that. You just have to if you don't have enough money or you don't know where to go. And then also on the right wing, if you get too close to home, they call you an anti-Semite. They can't debate me. You think Charlie Kirk or Ben Shapiro could debate me or any of these dweebs that they put on the stage? I would decimate them. That's why they don't. That's why they pass speech laws for Israel. That's why they call everybody a homophobe and an anti-Semite and all these crazy things. That's why Governor Abbott is trying to take down Gab. He's not fighting big tech, just like Trump wasn't fighting big tech. They were passing speech laws for big tech, and they're trying to take down Gab. I don't even use Gab, but Gab is a Christian-owned right-wing social media company. In this world right now, should your priority as a Republican in Texas be to take down one of the only right-wing Christian-owned apps? No, they're doing it with an Israeli flag waving behind them. Why? Because that's who they serve. And their big Israeli donors say, you know what? There's too much anti-Semitism on Gab. Take the app down. So Governor Abbott gets on camera and says, we got to go for Gab. That's what Texas is doing right now. They're not protecting your speech. They're trying to take down Gab. There's anti-Semitism on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter. Gab is just a free speech platform. There's thousands of Jews who use Gab and who see no anti-Semitism because they don't follow those people. So it's a false premise to take down the social media site, just like they tried to take down Parler. And it's not just the left doing it. It's freaking Governor Abbott. They're all a bunch of sellouts, DeSantis included. Google his, anti-Semitism speech bill and read all the clauses. I like Jewish people, but I like protecting them. Like, I don't want them to be hurt. I don't pass speech laws so you can't question Susan Wojcicki and Mark Zuckerberg and her family who owns 23andMe. That's not protecting Jewish people. That's protecting the elites. That's what these laws are. They're not for the average Jewish family. They're certainly not for the average Jewish patriot. They're for people that you don't like. Just like if they passed a race speech law, it's like, what is that? Who is that for? We don't do speech laws in America. You don't need that. And all this stuff is just making racism worse. And my last thing that I'll end on, and then I'll read some more comments, is, the right does the same thing with Jewish people that the left does with Black and Hispanic people, where they overuse the word anti-Semitism the same way the left overuses racism and sexism and whatever. And it doesn't stop anti-Semitism, and it doesn't stop racism and sexism. Groups like the ADL make anti-Semitism worse because they don't care. They don't care about Jewish people. They just use them as a front to push their global agenda, which is not good for Jewish people that just want to blend in and not, be targeted. That's not good for them. They don't care. So the more you exaggerate, the more you lie, the more you cover up, the more you don't allow people to have a conversation and notice patterns, the more you're not allowed to say the truth, the more pissed off people get. So they know what they're doing. It's the same way the left with Black Lives Matter is making racism worse. They know that. They want racism to be worse. With no racism, how is America going to be so divided? What's going on right now that nobody's, talking about the vaccine passports? Oh, the George Floyd trial, of course, the white cop and the black guy and the knee. They'll talk about this for 2 months as they're enslaving society, vaccine passports, lockdowns. Nobody's going to talk about it in the urban community because they're stuck on the George Floyd. Isn't that just the most convenient court case? Like the virus was the most convenient virus. I'm not saying it was planned. I'm just saying I find it shocking that a virus is bad for small businesses, citizens, human rights, but it's really good for Amazon and the government. Isn't that just coincidental? And, they roll this out right with the vaccine passports. It's not real Black activism, feeding high fructose corn syrup through NBA sponsors. They don't give a crap about Black people. They're making them fatter. They're keeping them inside away from sunlight and exercise. No, these people are like modern day slave masters pretending to be your friend. And Malcolm X knew all about it. But it's the same thing on the right wing, folks. They over-exaggerate about the term anti-Semitism, not to help average Jewish people, to protect their donor class. Look up Sheldon Adelson. He gave like hundreds of millions of dollars to Republicans. I know this stuff, and they know this stuff. They wish they could be me. They wish they could talk this real. They can't because they lose all their money. I sell shirts and hats, and to be quite frank, I'm an honorable person. If I had to be broke and sleep on the street, I would do it before I would ever be a sellout of my own people, my own country like they are. But in general, I'm self-made and I'm independent, so I don't have these sponsors. These people have talked to me. You don't know this stuff because they won't talk about this stuff because they'll lose their money and their spot on the power structure because that's how you get there. And I know this because I know these influencers. They tell me, dude, I know what you're saying, but I don't want to, the sponsor of this podcast is this, and I don't want to lose it. No, I get it. You're a coward just like Trevor Noah. I get it. You're just the right-wing version. You do just enough to act like you're edgy, but not enough to really go and actually help anybody. I get it. I just don't do that, but I understand. And that's why you don't know about this stuff, because they won't allow you to. But that's why we never get to the bottom of anything. It's the same dynamic of like, well, the left wing is pushing vaccine passports and the right wing is pushing vaccines. It's like, yeah, and then they meet in the middle and everybody's screwed. It's like, that's the whole scheme. Oh, it's the left. If it's the left, and if you knew they were going to do that and you couldn't stop it, then why did you rush these out? Trump said without him, this vaccine would have took 4 years. I would prefer that because that would make me feel more comfortable that they researched it for 4 years, not them just lying about that it's FDA approved when it's not and trying to jam it down my throat. So Trump takes credit for rushing it, and then they do the vaccine passports. You get what I'm saying? I know people don't want to hear this, but you're never going to understand what's going on until you consider what I said in this live stream. Nothing's going to make sense. And a lot of this stuff is rooting from a specific place that I've already mentioned, and no one wants to talk about it, okay? It's the same way. It's not, most Muslims are peaceful. I love Muslims. I've grown to really appreciate Muslims for being faithful to God and very dedicated to their, what they believe in. But when certain people do stuff like the Wahhabis, it's not all Muslims, but if you want to understand why they're doing it, first of all, you have to figure out who's funding them, which is probably Saudi Arabia, the United States, and Israel. But also, you have to figure out what they're thinking, because if their ideology is driving like a suicide bombing, it's important. It doesn't mean you hate all Muslims. It means you got to figure out who those people are and what they're thinking. And it's the same way with communism. Who created communism? Karl Marx. Who was Karl Marx's father or grandfather? What did he study? What book that says Jesus is burning in hot excrement for eternity? Which book was that he was studying? You know, and then they roll it out, and you have people like, you know, Leon Trotsky. What did Leon Trotsky do when he flew to the United States? Why was he so welcomed in the United States? Which group of people welcomed him as a fighter of anti-Semitism? You know, if people don't want to talk about this, oh, does it mean I hate everybody? No, it means I've studied communism. I know where it comes from, and I know the people that are a majority pushing it, you know, for their reasons. You could even find videos of, you know, I think his name is something Man. He's one of the founders of Weather Underground, which was some terrorist organization, which was like super Marxist, super Antifa before Antifa, or maybe after, because Antifa came from Germany. But in general, you know, he said on camera that he's the one puppeting Patrisse Cullors and all these, you know, black lesbian chicks with the Black Lives Matter. He's a Jewish guy who said his mom told him that all the goyim, which means non-Jew, are coming after him and he has to fight back. So it's like he admitted he uses black anger and black, you know, upset to fight a race battle for himself, for his own people, the Jewish community. That this is not my opinion. It's not anti-Semitism. This is what they're doing. This is who's behind Black Lives Matter. Like, you guys want to say it's white people, I guess, but it's also a different ethnicity with a whole different ethnic agenda. And it's not everybody, but a certain group of people are doing it. That's why they're passing speech laws to stop you from saying they're doing it. There's no other reason. Is there speech laws for Christians? Oh, you can't say Christians are, you know, working together. You can't say Christians run the media. I mean, you know, let's DeSantis, hurry up, fly to the Pope and let's sign this bill that says that Christians are running Hollywood. It's like, you don't need to do that because it's not happening. And if it was, you'd allow people to talk about it. The reason they don't want you to talk about any of this stuff is because it's all happening. It's all real. And anybody who knows this gets excluded from the left or the right. They call you, which my book's going to be about, which at this point is probably going to get banned from Amazon because it's about the words racist, sexist, xenophobe, anti-Semite, anti-vaxxer, climate denier, all these bullcrap words that they bring up to stop you from having a real discussion. If I'm talking about crime and you're talking about what white people have done in history and you call me a racist or I call you a racist, the discussion ends. We're not talking about heritage, genetics. We're not talking about skin tone. We're not talking about community. We're not talking about mindset. We're not talking about crime rates. We're talking, I'm a better person than you. You're a bad person. I'm good. I win. That's how you destroy an argument, by calling somebody racist. No serious, intelligent person is going to bring that word up in a complex debate about stuff because it just ends it. It's this idea that you have this moral, same with sexist. What does that mean? Who's the most sexist person you know? Probably the liberal feminist who hates men. Do I hate women? Of course not. I love women. And do men who are, you know, love women, men like women? You know, it's just like, you might not agree with what they say or what their religion tells them to do with women, but they don't hate women. You hate women. So you call everyone a sexist. All these words are just a trap. But the thing I'm saying is that the Republicans have a blind spot, not just for the word anti-Semite, but also for the word, you know, for medical tyranny. And these two things are so big on the scale of what's going on. Nothing's going to make sense and nothing's ever going to work until people figure that out. And I think it's becoming more clear, like Governor Abbott's trying to shut down Gab, that he's not fighting Twitter. He's not fighting big tech. He's telling you vaccines. He's selling vaccines and trying to take out one of the only right-wing application companies. Like, this is wild stuff. And anybody, I want to end on this note, anybody honorable knows what I'm saying is true. Doesn't matter if you're black, white, Jewish, Asian, Muslim. I have fans in Israel and supporters in Israel. I just live streamed with my Jewish friend yesterday, and he was like, he's a rapper. It's on YouTube. He was like, bro, I appreciate what you say about what's going on. I know you're not a hateful person, and you're right. I agree with you. Like, I get messages literally from Israel that are like, you're spot on. It's not that it's okay to love your people and love what you're doing. It's just not okay to the double standards where you can do it, but you can't do it. You can't talk about it, but I'm going to do this. That's where I draw the line. I don't care that people like themselves and they serve their interests. Like, duh, who wouldn't? But in general, you know, honorable people from any race, religion, and gender know what I'm saying is true. And phony people will try to shut it down and use these words to try to say it's wrong. But that's why we're in this position. And to really wrap it up, this is why I believe the media, the mainstream media, is the worst entity on the planet. If you took racial groups, like authentic racial leaders from the Jewish community and the Black community and the white, whatever, and sat them in a room, most of these people in a weird way would probably get along and figure out what they wanted to do, because, there's not all this like the media just stirs everything up and makes everything act so crazy. They give ISIS better press than the United States people, than your grandma. Literally. I mean, when you had those two girls murder somebody, they used this weird wording by a mistake. It was an accident. If those were white kids or something, oh, the white boys killed and murdered. And then it's like Black chicks and they're like, it was an error by a mistake. It's like, what? Like, it's like everything's a game to them. They're always just manipulating and dividing and figuring out a way to make it fit their agenda, whether it does or not. And they're so toxic and they're so bad. And that's why I'm here to hopefully, be better media. That's what I want to be. I don't really care about politics, but they're so bad. They're worse than the politicians because they drive politics, they drive culture, and they are constantly just doing the worst stuff and hurting the worst people. And I want to end on this note, and then I'm going to get to more questions, is to anybody, because I'm sure there's certain people who heard this, especially people who aren't used to it, and they said, oh my God, that sounded really anti-Semitic. I actually love Israelis and Jewish people. And if you really want to think about it, who's doing the most tyranny on their own people right now? I mean, Israel's rolling out a two-tiered society. They're excluding. You think there's not Jews who don't have flashbacks to World War II, who don't want to get, this vaccine because their family was experimented on? I know that I have Jewish women hit me up all the time and be like, thank you so much, Anomaly. I'm so afraid to do this. I don't want to be forced. This reminds me of Germany. And it's like, it should, if that's your history, shouldn't you be a little bit hesitant to be forced into, pharmaceuticals? There's a pretty bad history with Bayer and other, German companies with them. So it's like, who's being the worst to their people? In my opinion, it's Israel. They're the ones doing the most tyranny on their own people. And why is that happening? I could think of a few reasons, but a main one, which is what right-wingers tell the Black community, but they're afraid to tell the Jewish community. And I'd say this to the Christian community, the white community, Hispanic community. I'll say it to anybody. I'm just saying self-accountability. When you don't have self-accountability, you tend, it's like everybody says that to Black America. They're like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, have some self-accountability. It's like, yeah, when your mindset is playing the victim all the time, then you fall behind because you're always blaming other people and you're not self-reflecting on what you're doing. In my opinion, there's no bigger victim than the Jewish community. They've been playing the victim for 50, 60 years. So now they're rolling out all this crap on their own people because they're constantly blaming everyone else. They're constantly censoring and silencing any criticism of themselves in every country in the world. I don't think there's an ethnic group, a bigger ethnic group that does more censorship in more countries than that group. So now when all this crap's happening, you can't even talk about it because they've passed all these laws where you can't mention it. And not having self-accountability has not just a bad impact on other people, on your people. So, for the thousands upon tens of thousands upon hundreds of thousands of Jews in Israel who don't want to live like a prisoner or a slave because they don't want to get this, rushed product, I feel for those people. And I'm sure they probably watch my live stream and think, finally, someone said it, because I'm out here. I'm not trying to live like a prisoner because I won't get a jab. Maybe they want to wait 4 years and see what all the tests say. Maybe they never want to get the jab, and they have the right to do that, whether they live in America or Israel. So it's like, it's not like this one sort of conversation that you're allowed to have and just be like, play the victims, use the word anti-Semitism, use the word racism. It's the same thing the left does. There's no real discussion there when you just use those words. And, last year it was the Hasidics in New York who fought medical tyranny. They did a better job, in my opinion, than Christians or anybody in this country. No offense, I'm a Christian, but Christians are too weak. It's like Muslims in Europe, they get their way. Jews in New York get their way. Christians just blow in the wind and barely do anything. So I want to give a shout out to the Jews in New York who said, they're like leading the medical tyranny movement because they're stubborn, rightfully so. Like, why should they be forced by the government to do that? They want to congregate. I've been supporting them the whole time. It's like, yeah, you shouldn't allow the government to not allow you to see your friends. The Hasidics don't care in New York, and they shouldn't. And then, the Shapiros are like, mandatory vaccinations. It's like, no, bro. So it's like, there's always in any community, there's different movements and things going on. But, you know, it's like when you just blindly use the word anti-Semitism, you're not, who stood up for those Jews last year in 2019, 2 years ago? It was me, not all these people, anti-Semitism, they didn't say anything about the Hasidics who didn't want to get mass vaccinated because New York was trying to do that to them in 2019. You know, it's like the people who use these words, racist, it's just a virtue signal. I'm better than you. I love these people more than you. It's fake. You know, if you really love them, say something of value, do something that's real. Don't just use the word and censor people who you don't want to hear. To me, it's such a cop-out, and the right does it just as much as the left does it with other races. Like what serious person thinks that the left really cares about Black and Hispanic people? They're so fake. I find it's the same with the right, with the Jewish community. And the irony is most Jewish people vote Democrat. So it's like they're pandering so hard. Same with the Black community. They don't even get any votes. It's like they work so hard, you know, to get Black votes. And then it's like 12%, 90% to like Hillary Clinton. It's like, you guys, I mean, it's not funny, but it is like they're trying so hard to get that community to listen to them. And it's like Jewish and Black, they just vote Democrat in the masses. Like, no, you know, 8 out of 10 people don't even agree with you. So it's pretty interesting stuff. But someone said, why am I not able to hear me? I don't know. Maybe they cut my sound or something, but maybe not. That's my thought. Some real rare talk that you're just not going to hear very often. And someone said anomaly, all talk, no action. That's not true. I mean, what do you, I mean, I'll let you respond, but what action do you want me to take? I take action in my personal life. You know, I think one of the things I hear is like run for office. Office is not the only thing. The media is controlling way more than you understand. So I'm doing media. I rose independently to the top 10 list of the biggest social platform in human history. Is that not enough? I created my own media organization and I'm getting 600 million views. Is that not action? This is what I wanted to change. This is what I'm changing. I'm pulling my part. I could always do more, but it's like, what do you want me to do? Someone said, how about the Mennonites and Amish? I don't know who the Mennonites are, but the Amish, I don't know what they're doing. What are they, just living off the land? Probably really smart. I like the Amish, you know? What kind of water? I mean, it's just glass Sedona, I think. Dano said you rant too much. I don't understand why people come into my rants and tell me I rant too much. Like, I also make videos. Like, if I just ranted, it's one thing, but I have like 1,000 videos that are 5 to 15 minutes that are some of the most informative videos on the web that I'm talking about all these topics from like geoengineering to this and that. I got 1,000 videos. So it's like these rants are just a bonus. People like them. They, you know, it's a different platform, but it's like, why would you be here? I don't know. When people rant and I don't like it, I just don't watch it. I don't like sit there for an hour and a half. People who complain the most to me, they're always there. Like this one guy on Instagram, he complains and I'm talking for 2 hours. I'm like, bro, you've been here for 2 hours. Like, you must like me or something. Cause I'm not bragging, but it's like, if I really didn't want to hear someone, I would just click the X button. I really don't understand, but whatever. All right, let me see if I could get the stars. Someone said, sounds more like ranting to me in personal opinion. I mean, you know, wise people will hear what I said, either learn something or understand what I'm saying. Maybe they already knew. A fool will just close their ears. And this is the funny thing. Everything I just said in that live stream, I've said in a different way, maybe 30 to 50 times. And every time I say it on Twitter, it's my least engaged thing. And everybody in the comments says, what speech bill? What speech bill did DeSantis do? Trump never did that. Like, it's almost like willful ignorance. It's one thing if you think I'm ranting, it doesn't bother me. But the people who don't want to hear it, they put things in their ears. They act like I never said it. And then they constantly ask me what I'm talking about because they don't want to hear it. You know, it's the same thing with telling somebody who believes Mike Lindell, there is no big thing on March 4th. Trump's not going to be in office on January 20th. They don't want to believe that, so they'll keep following. Like, if a wise person listens to this, you could learn a lot, just like I've learned a lot. And that's the difference between a wise person and a fool. The reason I know so much is not because I'm super wizard. I listen. And when someone tells me something I don't know, I'm grateful. If you know something about health that I don't know, I don't see it as a threat. Oh no, I'm the healthiest person. I want to know. I've learned so much about this stuff because I watch people I disagree with. And when they teach me something, I'm so grateful to learn. I'm like, wow, thank you. I didn't know that. Carrie Mullis, let me get the book. You know, I'm happy when someone teaches me something. And that's why I keep learning, where it's there's two types of people. One who's grateful to learn something new. Another person who's mad. They find it as like a threat to their entire existence if something that they thought wasn't true. Where when my support of the right wing was challenged by someone else and they don't make sense, I don't believe it because this doesn't make sense. And when someone did make sense and showed me more stuff about donors and these people, I'm like, wow, I actually am. I don't know. I don't get like angry at people who tell me stuff. I appreciate it. Say if I spell something wrong, anomaly, you spelled this wrong. Okay, I'm glad because I don't like to make errors and stuff. So if I could fix it, I fix it. I appreciate people who correct me when they're right. The Brianna, K-Ben, and Mike in the Pocket, you're awesome. Love from Vancouver, Canada. Michael James. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you. Thank you, Trisha. Someone says, same people thinking that there's a politician who's going to save them. I mean, things got a little crazy over the last year. It's tough for people to cope. I get it. I mean, it's pretty crazy what happened. Like everyone acts like this is so normal. They're like Florida and Texas are free. And I'm like, I mean, not as free as they used to be, maybe more free than a blue state. But at the same time, if you're in the city, it's not, it really isn't, where I feel like it's like the game was changed. When Trump won, he took over and people didn't know what to do because it's Trump world. And then pandemic world just totally changed it. And people don't want to I think they're afraid to realize what's going on. But I don't know. I mean, when things shut down and I just want to talk about it and learn about it. Like, I don't want to deny reality. That doesn't make me feel good. Like being in denial, that's like a coping mechanism. I think with some people is if we lie to ourselves enough that, I feel better about it. To me, I'm like, I'm trying to get to the bottom. All right, we'll read some more. Someone said, is this the fall of our civilization? I mean, I don't like to be a negative person. So it really depends on, multiple things. I think the first thing is how many people will just put their foot down in some sort of way. The second thing is will there be a leader that rises out of the ashes? Like if you look at, let's say Trump kind of came out of nowhere. Yeah, he was talking about it for 20, 30 years. But if you really think about it in the right wing, Trump wasn't like a big figure. And then he became everything. And then he took over the whole party. And now it's like he came almost out of nowhere. Within 2 years, he dominated everything. The pandemic, nobody even thought about that word 2 years ago. Say in January 2020, you're not even thinking about this. The pandemic world has taken over the world. In under a year, it's radically changed society more than anything has ever changed it, in my opinion, for the negative. Slavery, mask mandate, human face diaper muzzles, no human interaction in a year. So things happen quickly. That's where it's like, people are like, who's gonna lead? If it's not DeSantis, who's it gonna be? It's like, I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I'm not a doomer and a gloomer, but things happen quickly. So, before you know it, there can be a leader that can rise out of the ashes and just be something you never even thought about who just takes over. But also, on a personal level, I think it's people mold as well, where the left, I think, does a good job of molding society. So society moves left. And if you have Trump, society still moves left. Trump, when it's all said and done, he took 4 steps forward and 30 steps backwards with the pandemic stuff and not able to resist it. Whether you want to think it's his fault or not, we ended up way further back in every category: free market, capitalism, socialism, communism. He ended up backwards. So that's, it's going to have to take enough people, enough media, musicians. Like, you got what I'm saying? It's got to be a gradual shift around. But I'm prepared for the worst, but I'm hoping for the best. I'm an optimistic person. I'm having a good time as far as fall of civilizations. If this was one, I hope not. But if it was one, I'm blessed. I'm fortunate to be in a 2021 fall rather than a 1700s one. Or you get what I'm saying? It's not that bad right now. It could get worse, but I'm grateful to be here. I'm hoping for the best. But if things get crazy, I'm just prepared. I mean, I'm buying a bunch of water and food and stuff, just stocking up. I hope nothing happens. But when I saw this happening, I don't know if you guys recall, but if people followed me in March and February, I started kind of talking about it where I told people early in March, I was like, guys, I think they're going to shut travel down. All I'm going to say is like, get as much groceries as you can. Just do it now. I think something weird's going to happen. We saw it coming. And people were like, oh, you're fear mongering. And I was like, don't be scared. Be prepared. I kept saying that. Don't be scared. Be prepared. And a lot of families hit me up and said, Anomaly, Mike Pence told them not to get food, but I told them the opposite. They said, I appreciate you said that because I went and got a bunch of food and now it's a nightmare getting to the supermarket. We never ran out of food, but for a month or two there, it got kind of hard to get stuff. Everything was sold out. It was a nightmare to get in and out and everybody's wearing masks and it was like really creepy. So, it's like I wasn't fear mongering, but dozens of families got food early in March and, they didn't have to deal with all the nonsense at the supermarket. So it's like, that's not fear mongering. It's just being smart. That's how I kind of think, it's like, I hope things don't get crazy, but as they start getting crazier, if I see them doing vaccine passport travel, like I'm going to start moving in the direction of figuring out where to go. Cause it's like, okay, I hope that doesn't happen, but I'm not, I don't know. I'm not a scared person. Like they've already done it. It's already happening. So, I'm not going to cry about it. I'm just going to make moves, like, and enjoy myself. And I've had a pretty good year. I think things could be better. Things could be worse, but I'm enjoying myself. I find places I like to be, and that's what it is. If you don't like where you're at, find where you can be. And, I got a lot of cool resources and things I can do. And I'm grateful for that, but we'll see. I would like to be optimistic and say, I'm not a quitter. So I'm going to say, no, it's not the fall of the civilization, but America is definitely like not in the best place I've ever seen it. There's a lot to be desired as far as what's going on here. Where would I go? I don't know. I mean, it depends what's happening. I like where I'm at now, but as far as like, I don't know if they do a vaccine passport and liberals are saying, if you live in my state, you need this, then I'm definitely, I don't know, finding the reddest state I possibly can or something. I have no idea. I'm not, I don't want to make predictions, but it depends what they do. How crazy is it going to get? I got to figure that out. And, we'll see. What about all the states that are opening up? There's hope at least, right? Of course there's hope. I think, in general, it's like, in my opinion, it's a big psychological experiment where if enough people reject it, it could be over whenever. So, this is what I'm thinking. Okay, say all these politicians, these elites, whatever you want to call them, are they really enjoying themselves right now? Think about that. Who wants to be the king of hell? Who wants to be the king of a fallen society? Like if you're a degenerate weirdo politician, wouldn't you rather be the governor of New York when it's open? Like Cuomo could be doing cocaine. I'm not saying you should do cocaine, but I'm just saying like if he wants to be a degenerate weirdo, it's like he could be going out and having a good time in New York. I'm the king of New York. Like I'm not saying to do that because it's not right. I'm just trying to be funny, but also be like, isn't it more fun when New York is open? Who wants to be the governor of a state that's closed down like a prison? This can't be fun for Cuomo. This can't be fun for, Trump. This can't be fun for Biden. This can't be fun for Kamala. This can't be fun for Gavin Newsom. Like, how is this fun for them? If I'm a leader and I have all this power, who wants to be the king of slave world? So, that's a question that I think where I'm like, maybe they'll just give up, maybe they'll cave and open up. Like once enough people get the vaccine, they made the money, they got the power, they got the, at a certain point, maybe they'll just have to stop. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not trying to say it's forever, we're screwed. Like they could fully open up, but they could also do vaccine passports and never open up. I don't know. I hope for the best. And I think in my head, like, hopefully they come around and realize that it's not fun to be a leader of such a crappy society. And maybe that will push them to opening up fully again. But I don't know. I'm not like, I could see it going both ways. I just think people need to put their foot down. I can't control what they think or do. I can control what I do. I do in my personal life. And as a political movement, in your own life, do what you can, have a good day, enjoy yourself. Like, don't cry over it, do what you can. But as a political movement, when I talk to you as a family or a person, it's like, have a good time. Don't stress. Don't be fearful. Just do what you can. As a political movement, if we're talking to Trump and MAGA world and the right wing, Well, now we're talking about, why do I go so hard at Trump? Because you guys are the movement that's going to probably do something. So if everybody's into, that's where I'm like the two separates. Like, as a political movement, I'm not impressed with what's going on. And there's a lack of leadership because Trump kind of dipped out. But, we'll see. Anything can happen. Things change quickly. Who knows? Someone said history is full of slave masters and tyrants who have had a great time ruling over shells. You're not wrong. That is what history is a part of. So hopefully it doesn't get to that point. Someone said, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, anomaly. I don't think I am, but I get what you're saying. Someone said all drugs are legal in Oregon. I'm not sure what that means, but I don't know if that's a hint or. How's the book coming along? It's good. It's taking a long time. I just want to show you guys again. These hats are coming back in. I have them here, made in the USA. The hats, dreamrare.com. It took me a while. I got a merch guy, like we're doing it, and he's going to order it. It's going to be done way cleaner, way faster, to the source. Instead of going through a third party, I'm kind of doing it myself. So the hats are back. There's beanies. You see what I'm saying? We got the beanies right here. God bless. So dreamrare.com, get those now, but I'm not just trying to sell. I'm just saying in general, that took me a long time. I'm doing my taxes. I'm doing business stuff like filing, trying to file everything properly. So the book's taking a long time, but I'm stretching a bunch of different ways. So there's a reason I showed you the hats and shirts, dreamrare.com. But I got the merch. So now I'm not going to have to worry about that. I was doing all my own customer service. That took a long time. My friend's coming out in a few weeks, and he's going to do some management for me. I think I'm going to give him a percentage, any deal he can do, or whatever. I just got too many emails, so he's going to handle all that. Basically, long story short, I'm putting the right people in certain positions because I like doing it myself. But at a certain point, I'm spread too thin. I do the videos, I do the editing, I love it, but then I go on Patreon. I have 40 messages on Patreon I have to answer. I have 200 emails I haven't answered. I'm spread so thin. Sometimes by the time I'm done doing all this stuff, I can't write my book. So I'm putting people in place in order to finish the book, because it's going to be, obviously I'm biased, but it's going to be a great book. It's going to be an edgy book, but it's going to be a real book, getting to the core of the words racism, sexism, xenophobia, anti-Semitism, climate denier, blah, blah, all the words that are just used. And I'm going to talk about the psychology behind them and how they're being abusive. I'm pumped. Every time I write, I get more and more excited, but I can't put out a trash product. You know me. It's got to be good. I got to take my time. So that's where we're at with it. It's hopefully, it could be done in like a month. It could be done in a couple of weeks. I think I'm going to be more free here soon. Someone said donuts will fatten you up. It's probably true if you eat too many donuts, and I think that's not wrong. I'm going to read this real quick. The name of the book, it's not out yet. I don't want to share it. Heather said, I'm a conservative who supported President Trump, but I agree with you how he rolled out, starting with the lockdown. Those who agree, appreciate you. Thank you, Heather. Will it be on dreamrare.com? The hats are on dreamrare.com. They're pre-order right now. So the book, I don't know. I got to figure it out. I might just have to sell it on Amazon. I know people probably won't want me to, but I don't have a publishing deal that's like the only place I could think of that I could quickly get it out. Hopefully go to the top of the charts and get people to see it. We'll figure it out, but I don't really know with the book yet. I haven't got to that point, but I don't have it's going to be self-published. So I got to figure out how to do it. These are on dreamrare.com. So these are, I know it's backwards for one, but these are dreamrare.com. Maybe the book will be dreamrare.com, but the hats and the beanies definitely are. I'm not sure. I'm kind of playing it by ear. I'll let you know though. Someone said you could sell a book from a simple website. I'll figure it out. I'll talk to people who self-publish. Like, I'm torn. Let me see what you guys think. Because part of me, like, say with Amazon, okay? Part of me, obviously, I don't want to support Amazon in the sense of, like, they're a convenient company, but also, they're not, like, Jeff Bezos is not really my best friend. At the same time, it's the biggest, it's like YouTube. It's the YouTube of bookstores. So, you could say, oh, I'm against YouTube, Facebook, and then you just don't exist. People get their Twitter accounts hacked. You lose your access to society. I wish it wasn't that way, but it's like ethically, yeah, I don't agree with Zuckerberg and all these people, but if I wasn't on Facebook and YouTube right now, no one would care and my message wouldn't get out there. So I'm less concerned with like money, where obviously it's nice to make money on a book, but to me, I don't not want to be on Amazon because everybody's on Amazon. That's the biggest bookstore in the world. It's like the YouTube of books. And I would love it to go number one, and I would love more people to download it. I want more people to buy it. So, we'll see what happens. I'll figure it out. But to me, it's the same like ethical argument of like, people could say, oh, I don't want you to do that. And I'm like, no, I agree. I'm making USA products only. I'm doing as much as I can around it. But at a certain point, if I took down Facebook and YouTube, it's hopefully eventually I can get to that point, but I don't know if it makes sense for now. But let me know what you guys think. Someone said, get it out any way you can, use Amazon, sell it on eBay. Yeah, I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'm going to take your comments. Someone said Amazon's also the biggest book burner in the world. I'm assuming they'll eventually get rid of my book because it's pretty inflammatory, but I don't know. That could be good press, right? If my book gets banned on Amazon and then I just find a distributor, I'll talk to people I know that sell books and I'll try to get the best, advice. Because to me, it's like with my message, I tell people, you can copy any of my videos, like any of my videos on Instagram, you could post anywhere. I'm not going to flag you or stop you. I just try to credit me if you can, obviously, like with my tag, but I want the information to get out there. And, I want to say this with Patreon too. I get a lot of support on Patreon. I get a lot of support on Facebook supporters. And I always think in my head, we're going to do a live stream on Facebook supporters, but I always think in my head, should I do more for Patreon to try to either make more money or get more people excited? I could do all this stuff on Patreon backdoor. I do post things on there and I do answer all the messages on there, which is a bonus because I can't answer all messages. I talk to everyone on Patreon, but I'm like, I'd rather give everything to the public, as far as the work, where it's like, why am I going to spend 6 hours and give it to 600 people on Patreon? It's not that I don't want people, I want 1 million people to see. I want the message to spread. I don't care if people copy paste my video and share it because I want people to not just see me. I want people to hear what I'm saying. When I make a vaccine passport video, I'm not doing it because I want to talk about vaccines or vaccine passports. I don't want to talk about it because they censor everything about it. I just have to talk about it because I need enough people to realize that this is going on, or else we're all screwed if everybody's sheep, So it's kind of that sort of thing with the Patreon. Thank you guys for supporting on Patreon and Facebook. I do answer messages. I do live streams privately, but sometimes I'm like, I wish I did more, but I'm like, what? As long as everybody knows, them supporting is helping the message get out there to everybody. I think that's better. Like I have 600 million views. I don't want to do a great video and just put it on, Patreon. I'd rather everybody see it and share it. Someone said, who's ready for off the grid living? I think it's like, it might be inevitable. It's like, I don't know. We'll see. I'm mentally prepared for anything. Like I don't know. I'm just not, whatever happens at this point, I'm not going to be surprised. They've done everything crazy. Look at like Lil Nas. Like, I don't want to talk about this generically, but every Christian pastor said, if you let homosexuals get married, they're going to do this, this, and this. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, you're exaggerating. Like, they just want to get married. It's just Macklemore and Ellen DeGeneres, And then 15 years later, it's like you got Lil Nas selling blood shoes, like sodomizing the devil on a rap video. I don't know if you guys seen it. It's disgusting. It's this gay rapper like sodomizing the devil. It's disgusting. I consider myself a pretty tolerant person as far as like, I'm pretty reasonable. It's disgusting. Like I won't even share it. You have a lot of Republicans sharing it. I won't even share the Lil Nas video because it's that disgusting and degenerate. And I'm not the most like ethical rapper of all time. Like I have some degenerate songs when I was younger too, because I was a moron and I was, 22 years old. But I'm looking at this, I'm like, dude, this guy's like a sick kid. This guy's it's disgusting. So every Christian pastor that seemed crazy was spot on, which is why I'm a Christian. People ask if I am. A lot of 2016 to 2020 brought me back to Christ, but also like for some reason, the most basic things only Christians understand. To credit, there's other people, other religions, some atheists get it. I'm not saying only, but in America, some of the simplest things were going over everyone's heads. And I'm like, how come no one gets, it's one thing to not believe in God, I guess, but it's another thing to just like sodomize the devil. Like, you're a weirdo. It's just disgusting. And, it's similar to like cooking bacon at a mosque. I don't agree with what happened to the guy, but like, what do you expect? Listen, I'm not Muslim, but I would not go disrespect Muslims. Like, to me, that's a scumbag move. Like, they don't like pork. It's one thing if they're trying to stop you from cooking it at your house or in your business, then support, defend yourself. But if you're going to a mosque just to cook bacon, like, I don't feel bad for you when something bad happens because you're like an agitator who's looking for a reaction. It's the same thing with Lil Nas. He's looking for a reaction in a Christian majority country, and he got the reaction he looked for, and then he acts so shocked, right? I can't believe all these Christians are mad. Bro, you're in a Christian country, or what was a Christian country, and you're sodomizing the devil. It's disgusting, even to me, who, I'm not saying, I'm just saying in general, like, I don't draw the hardest line stance per se, but like that to me was just gross. I'm like, I won't even share it. S said, you've helped change my mentality last year. I have MS and I've gotten much healthier, even lost 18 pounds. Wanted to say thank you. S, thank you so much. I mean, that's like a great comment. I appreciate that. He said, I have multiple sclerosis and I've gotten healthier and lost 18 pounds. I love that. I appreciate that. And like, that's my favorite comment of the day. No offense to anybody else. But, amidst all the controversial talk, sometimes people try to make me feel like, I'm being super negative or something. And I'm like, we talk about working out and exercising and doing jumping jacks and stuff. Like I goof around sometimes, and I also can get kind of serious and heated about certain topics that are dear to me. But also I try to be a good influence, and it's nice to hear that it actually works sometimes. So thank you so much, and I'm glad that I could help. And I've gotten healthier too, and it feels good. My back feels better, although it hurts a little today. But in general, it's just good to be healthier. And I try to, instead of sell high fructose corn syrup like crappy soda, have a better influence. Because I always told myself, if I ever became rich, I don't know that I could do like a soda ad. Mountain Dew, I don't know that I could do that ethically. I think I would turn it down, even for $10 million. Anomaly, $10 million and you could push Mountain Dew. I would turn it down even now. That's just the type of person. I'm not selling that crap. You find me some good water, I'll sell it. Some crappy high fructose, there's not enough money you could pay me to sell that to people and try to pretend like it's good. I can't do it. And that's unfortunately is too rare nowadays. That's something you got to give someone like, what's his name? Muhammad Ali credit. He stood up for what he believed. He didn't want to go to war. Like, that could have ruined his career. It almost did. He just didn't care. That's the type of like, I don't believe in it. Muhammad Ali, everyone's going to hate you. So I don't, that's a lost art, or somebody who actually will sacrifice everything for what they believe. Not in Colin Kaepernick way, in like a real way. Suzanne Taylor said, never stop spreading the truth. Thank you, Suzanne. I'm just trying to help out. And in general, I'm a stubborn citizen, okay? I'm a human. I'm a super nice guy, but I was the type in school, I was the nicest kid, I think. Maybe I was a bad kid, but whatever. I was nice to the other kids, but if you hit me or touch me, like, I made you realize very quickly not to do that. Kids instantly, I was the new kid in school a lot because we moved a lot, and they'd hit me, bang, and I don't agree with violence, but I'm talking self-defense. They'd never mess with me again. That's the type of person I am. I'm nice, but I'm not a pushover. So in adult life, I don't need to pick fights all the time. I'm an adult. I'm having a great time, but everything's infringing upon me. This shutdown, like, wear a mask, people yelling at me. I'm not the one. So I have a huge attitude this last year. I can't help it. It's like in my genetics or something. Like, leave me alone. I just can't. I can't even pretend to go along with it. Like, I'm, it reminds me of just people like touching me. I'm like, I have to feel like I don't belong everywhere. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry for breathing air, but I just want to spend $100 in your store. I'm sorry I'm so bad. I know me, breathing air, not sick, just trying to give you my money. Everyone's treating me like crap everywhere. Wearing your mask. What do you do? I'm like, this is customer service. This is bad customer service. No one's talking about that. This gave everybody a reason to just have the worst customer service. Just treat everyone like crap everywhere. It's like Disney. Put your mask on. Put it on. It's like, dude, just stop. Like, it's one thing to have a mask mandate. I don't agree with it. That's one thing. It's another thing to just be a total scumbag over it and make everybody who walks in your business feel like crap. Can you have a mask mandate without doing that? No, then F you twice. I can't stand this stuff, and I won't stand it. And I'm a loudmouth everywhere I go. Hey, can you wear a mask to walk 3 steps outside? No. Well, that's our policy. Well, then I'll eat somewhere else because that's BS. And I've cursed her. So I'm like, oh my God, I'll get the manager. And the manager comes out. She looks like she's going to cry, cracked out. And I can't even see her face. I'm like, you look like an animal. I don't say that, but I'm like, what's going on? Oh, you have to wear a mask to walk outdoors. I have to wear a mask. Well, it's not policy. You're making this stuff up. It's not even a state policy. And we live in California. What are you talking about? Do you have a seat outside or I'll never eat here again? I mean, it's really that simple. I want to walk 3 steps, lady. Okay, you sit over there. It's like, was it that hard, you freaking weirdo? Like, I don't care. I'm flipping the script. I'm not going to feel uncomfortable for being normal. You need to feel uncomfortable for treating people like animals everywhere I go. Why are you treating people like a slave and animals? Well, it's our company policy. Well, stop. It's dehumanizing. I just tell them now. Yeah, I'm a real blast to be around. You want to hang out with me? Ray Sparkle said, my sister and I got harassed at Costco because I didn't have a mask over my nose because I have a medical issue. I told them if they continue to harass us, I'm tired of it. Well, think about this, like stress and fear. This is the CDC lady is such a weirdo, but it's like stress and fear has an influence on every part of your body. I know people that are dying, that are getting sick, comorbidities, people that passed away because they lost their human interaction. You know, they lost their spirit because the whole world shut down. People with comorbidities should not be quarantined. This is where DeSantis and Trump don't get it. They're like, well, we're quarantining these people. Well, you shouldn't, because even though they're elderly, it doesn't mean elderly people live long when you treat them like an animal. There's always been pneumonia and flu and other things. You don't treat them this way. You're killing elderly people. It doesn't matter how many vaccinations you give them. You're killing them via treating them like dogs and animals and taking away their community, which keeps them alive. This is not healthy. This is not okay. And nobody seems to get it on the left or the right. They're all playing this script where it's like good cop, bad cop, playing in this arena that doesn't make sense. None of this is healthy. And I'm so tired of them acting like it's okay when you're stressed out all the time. If you're in a good mood, hey, Johnny, what's going on? Like I'm like Mr. Rogers. Not all the time. I could be your worst enemy. No, but in general, I'm a nice guy. I'm a good guy to have in the neighborhood. I'm a good guy to have in the community. I like to smile, and I like to put a smile on people's faces. So if you have that everywhere, smiles, what does it do when say you have a medical problem? Like you said, you have to walk around Walmart or wherever you are. You have to walk around scared all the time because everybody's yelling at you. You can't have confidence because you're like nervous that and then someone does say, they're raising your stress. They're making you more sick. This is a whole sickness scheme. They're not saving people. They're killing people. Lockdowns don't save lives. They kill lives. I mean, oh, well, if everyone wears masks for a year, we'll save maybe a 1%, 2%. It's like, what about everything else? What about missed cancer screenings? What about people with comorbidities that can't exercise and go out? So they're flaring up. Like I know way more people who are hurting from this than people who are hurting from this idea that social isolation is saving them. No one's having a good time. This isn't better for anybody. And I'm so tired of Republicans acting like it's normal. Oh, well, I will only quarantine the elderly. Leave the elderly alone. Stop. If they want to do that, that's fine. But this is not optional. At these nursing homes and stuff, none of this is optional. It's mandatory slavery. They're enslaving all the old people. And these people need human interaction or they're going to die. I am so upset at Republicans and Democrats. I think they're all evil, including like a DeSantis. Is he better? For sure. But he's going along with this narrative that quarantining the elderly is fine. Get them as many vaccines as can. And it's like, yeah, cool, dude. And Trump and like, oh, this is the way we got to do it. It's like none of them are railing against the narrative completely. It's like, there's going to be karma for everything that these people are doing. And I'm not wishing it on them. I'm just saying, like, you treat people this badly on such a huge scale. I just don't see this ending well because it's like, it's so wicked. And none of that, like, why isn't there one politician that says, hey, listen, I understand if you want to do this, that's okay. If you want to do this, that's okay. Elderly people included, comorbidities included, you need exercise. You need to get out. You need human interaction. If you're really nervous of being around people, then don't do it. But this idea that it's smart to quarantine even the comorbidities and the elderly is a total joke. It's not healthy to stop moving for a year and a half. They have killed and hurt and damaged and made more people sick than they ever made healthy. And it's so obvious. And, it's a sad sight, but the good part is I'm not really playing along. So I do what I can. I say what I can. I try to help as many people as I can, but I'm not this like miserable person that I seem like apparently I am on Twitter. Everyone's like, oh my God, do you have anything nice to say? It's like, yeah, I have a great time all the time. Sometimes I tweet and I'm just saying things. I'm not like mad. I'm just like my thought, bloop, and I just put it out. There's no tone or context. You can see on here. I'm not like that angry. But it's like, that's what I do. And then when I'm not online, I try to enjoy myself and have a good day. So I've had a good year. I appreciate things, but I'm also going to say my piece. That's just the balance, I think. T. Dot said, preach, you don't got to be a rocket scientist to know this. Of course, it's just basic human nature and common sense. And most people know it, but nobody's saying it. And most people needs to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Most people need to hear it to be like, oh, no, I agree with that. Just, all their leaders aren't real leaders, politicians included. They're politicians. They're selling vaccines. DeSantis, selling vaccines. Abbott, selling vaccines. Trump, selling vaccines. Pelosi, selling vaccines. Newsom, they're all vaccine salesmen. They're 100% selling vaccines. Some of them are 0% pro-freedom. Some of them are 70% pro-freedom. Some of them are 80% pro-freedom. But I don't know that there's a single politician that's drilling into people's heads that lockdowns kill. Quarantining kills. It hurts people. It is not healthy. It is the most sick I've ever been in my life was when I was stuck inside all the time. Being stuck inside is not healthy. Being stuck inside is one of the least healthy things you could possibly do. Opening a window, getting exercise, having human interaction, going to the coffee shop, going to the beach, going to the gym, going to these places. That's how you maintain healthy. When I used to stay inside, I was sick all the time. Being inside makes you sick. This is the exact opposite of what they're saying. It's so demonic. It's so devilish what they're doing. And I don't like cheer on these Republican politicians like, oh my God, it's like they're not doing crap and they deserve to be shamed. I have too much of an attitude, not for any other reason besides they've infringed on my rights way too much and I'm tired of it. Like if I saw them, I would say all this stuff and I do, but we'll see what happens. Aubrey said only trolls think you're a downer. Yeah, well, it's like, it's funny. They call it concern trolling or whatever. And people are like, I'm concerned. Like, he's like, do you have anything positive to say? And I look at his thing and he's got a blue check mark, some EDM DJ. I'm like, bro, what are you, jealous or something that no one cares? Like, you're saying things and no one cares. I'm saying things people care. I'm not knocking you. Like, I think I'm that much more special, but it's like, you're talking crap to me and you're not saying anything profound. Like, why? I wouldn't come to you and talk crap to you. You get what I'm saying? Like, some people come at me in a weird way where I'm like, you could just unfollow me, but when, I like to talk crap too sometimes. So I'm like, you come in like, oh, you're Mr. Negative Nancy. Yeah, I'm so negative that someone with MS lost 18 pounds because we work out on my channel. Yeah, that's so negative. People are, buying groceries and having a good time and working out and losing weight. Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. Like, yeah, this is such a negative arena here. No one believes that who watches it, but Twitter's just a negative platform. Everything sounds negative on Twitter because it's just text. I love voice chats now. Like I learned that with the iPhone or whatever, you can do a voice. I love that better because it's like funnier. You could laugh. There's tone. There's context. Texting. Anytime I text people, it gets misconstrued. Unless it's like my best friends. Your best friends, they know you. They know what you're talking about. When I text people that I just met or something, like it always sounds like I'm mad. They're mad. You talk to a girl, they say something that like unless you actually know somebody, it's like it always just comes off right. What? And I'm like, what? And it's like, because it's text, there's no tone. People have different ways of communication. And if you don't know someone that well, and if you just follow them online, you could watch a video and you might not know everything about me, but you're like, okay, this is kind of the type of person he is. This is what he does. Like you watch me on Twitter, I guess people, it's like, I guess I can sound negative, but I think of things and I type them and I don't know. Twitter sucks. Yeah. I'm a huge Twitter hater. I'm a huge Twitter hater hypocrite. I hate it, but I spend too much time there. My world got better when I spend way less time on Twitter now than I used to. Like the last 2 months have been amazing because I just don't go on Twitter that much. And every time I do, I find this stupid argument. And I'm just like, I hate this website so much more than every website, but whatever. Someone said, can anyone explain to me why President Trump banned bump stocks? I think he just caved to pressure after the shooting. I don't know if there was a deep reason, but yeah, I don't know. He definitely infringed on the second a little. Someone said Twitter is dead to me. Twitter sucks, man. I would love to get banned from Twitter, but then, it might affect my other social media. That's the only problem. Like when you get banned on one, usually they come for you on everything. I got to crack my back. Sorry. Someone said I quit Facebook 10 years ago. That's impressive. Wow, 10 years. Plans this Saturday? I don't know. I don't plan. I'm not a big planner unless I have like a big event. I'm very grateful that I'm able to like make my own schedule. It's a pro and a con because people are like, Anomaly, when do you go live? I just kind of wing it. It works for me, but like it's probably smarter to schedule things maybe to build an audience or something. But I love just being able to wake up, read my book, have my coffee, think of something, make a video. I love to be free. I love to be flexible. So yeah, I don't know what I'm doing Saturday. I don't like to plan ahead unless I really have to. I'm not that person like Monday, here's what I'm doing Tuesday, and maybe to a fault. Maybe I should plan more. I'd get more done. I don't know. I love to wake up and just be like, just, and see what's going on. Someone said gematria effect news. I've heard so much of that and I've been meaning to check it out because I don't know anything about it, but I think it's the number thing. Everybody seems to love it, or a lot of people. So someone said, why do you keep blaming Trump? Well, here's the thing, Mary, like, I'm not trying to be mean, but I haven't talked about Trump in the last 30 minutes. The one thing that I said, someone asked, why did he ban bump stocks? And I explained why he kind of caved on the Second Amendment and did a little bump stock ban or whatever, because that's what he did. That's just a fact. So, I know that's what you're talking about because I barely talked about Trump the last half an hour. So it's like, I'm not hating on it. You're just intolerant to hearing what happened. That's what happened. He infringed on the first two amendments. He helped socialism and communism come to this country. You just don't want to hear it. So I'm not hating. It's like you're immune from here, which is why the Republicans don't win anything. I don't want to go on a huge tangent, but like people defend this idea that they're conserving something more than they're upset that they're not conserving anything. Trump took 4 steps back, took 50 steps backwards. We can debate about why it happened, but it happened. So are you willing to figure it out and stop it from happening so you can actually conserve something? Or do you want to just keep losing everything? I don't want to lose stuff, but I think a lot of people are like obsessed with losing as long as someone tells them they're winning, but it's not really appealing to me. All right, let me read some. Thank you, Jolene Brown. Thank you, Alex Moser. I'm trying to see some star comments. It's not loading the star comments, but it loads the top star senders. So until this works on Facebook, I can shout out the top star senders, which is Delphine, Jolene, and Alex, but I can't see the star comments. I don't know. Maybe there are none, whatever. My take on the evergreen situation, I'm not familiar with it. I've heard people talk about it, but I haven't heard about it. Someone said stop. It's crazy because it's like, it truly is true. It's like, if you want to learn, if you want to watch the stream and learn stuff and have a conversation, it's fine. But like ignorance comes on both sides. People who just don't want to be challenged, don't want to be questioned. They've fallen victim to like this idol culture where they just idolize someone like a messiah and they're shocked at why this all happened. And they don't want to like get to the bottom of it. So it's that type of stuff that makes me okay with whatever happens. I'm like, I don't have any expectations anymore for the country, for conservatives. I could see their blind spot and I could see that conservatives are more offended when you point it out than they are that it's happening. I'm offended that communism came. I'm offended by medical tyranny. I'm offended by mask mandates. I'm offended by Operation Warp Speed. I'm offended by Trump infringing on the first 2 amendments. I'm offended by what happened last year. I'm offended by all of it. And you're offended by the fact that somebody even mentions it. Like you're more upset over people who want to fix it than you are over it happening. It's like this weird slave mentality where you're like, Stockholm syndrome, like you love to just be mistreated, and any conservative that stands up against it is a threat to your like idol worshiping. It's really creepy, but it's pretty much made me realize that at the moment the movement's not going to really do anything. So I'm enjoying myself realizing you guys aren't going to get it done. But Murray Ellie said, Jack, keep speaking the truth. Way too Jack for the gulag. Thank you so much. JC Nell said, we will win this anomaly. They cannot continue the demonic behavior. I mean, they're running out of room. Like either revelation is going to come or they're going to get burnt out, because it's like, where do you go? Like they're so gross and demonic. Where do you go from here? There's nothing left to do. Like they're like burning out all of their creepy, gross stuff, where I think that, yeah, at a certain point, they're going to have to get tired of it. Thank you, woke DR. Masculinism. Yeah, it really is, man. It's a religion, and that would be smart if somebody tried to fight it in court. Like, I respect Islam, but I don't want to be forced to wear, their garb. I respect liberals, but I don't want to be forced to wear their religion. Like, this is not based on this credible science. This is more moving the goalposts. It's become a religion more than it has like a scientific theory, and they shut down any scientist who disagrees. APS 5113 said, keep up the good work. Do not listen to haters. God bless. Well, I listen and sometimes I comment, but they don't faze me. I appreciate the super chat. It's definitely, it helps / it's what's it called? Motivating. But I'm not the type to for the haters to get me down. It only like drives me more. I've been calm today, but I see some people, like I'm on Instagram Live sometimes, and they act like, oh my God, you're so demoralized. You're so deflated. It's like, I'm the opposite of deflated. I've been working out more. I feel great. I'm enjoying myself. I'm doing well. I'm not deflated. I get, you don't want to hear, but like people try to like get me down. Like, oh, you're so demoralized. Like, no, I'm literally not. But it only fires me up more, because I'm like trying to light a fire under these people. I'm like, you need to get a little bit more going. Like the fact that it's just strange. It's like it reminds me of the left with the border, or the left with crime. Anybody who tries to fix the border, or anybody who tries to fix crime, is an enemy to the left. They don't want to help Black people. They don't want to help Hispanics. They certainly don't like white people. But in general, if you try to solve all the things that they're screwing up, they hate you. You're like enemy number one for the crime of actually trying to solve poverty and all these things. It's the same thing with the right wing. It's like people, the Trump movement, and I like Trump. I have Trump ice cubes. Like I have, Trump gear, whatever. I like Trump. But people love Trump so much. It's like if you actually try to solve medical tyranny or call out the root level and how the right's not getting it done, they are so mad. They're more mad at you for saying it than they are that it happened. Like if Republicans cared this much about free market capitalism and were pissed when the free market collapsed in March and April and May and June and July and August, then we wouldn't have it. That's why I only get hyped up off this. I'm like, you guys are cowards. You're not a tough guy. You're not a Republican, tough conservative. You guys are cowards. You guys are more mad that me saying something bothers you more than the fact that it happened. Imagine if you were this offended that your country caved last year before Biden got, it wouldn't have happened. So it's like a bunch of fake tough guys and a bunch of like, don't tell me about my idol. I don't want to hear. It's like, okay, whatever, sleep with your little Trump teddy bear. Just, you can imagine the deep state getting arrested or whatever and follow Juan O'Savin and buy his new book or whatever. It's like, ooh, he won't show his face, but any day now, Trump's going to arrest Nancy Pelosi. It's like, yeah, any day for sure. Just, whatever floats your boat. Lynn Winter said, tonight is the first time I heard of you and your message. We are on the same page, so I'll be following you going forward. One love, said Lynn. Thank you so much, Lynn. I appreciate you. We love a first-time chatter. Thank you, Lynn. God bless you. Michael A. said, you are my brother from another mother. By the way, GOA defended the bump stock ban in court. Good to know. Thank you, Michael. God bless you. Infamous NYC said, I voted for Trump twice. Part of his defense stated they knew an event to take place on the 6th. So why invite people to D.C.? In my opinion, he threw them to the wolves and he had nothing new to say about the fraud. This might be controversial to say, but the more I learn about this stuff, I think the 6th was a total setup. Like you said, he had intel, or his administration had intel that there was going to be a bunch of stuff there. The whole thing was a honeypot setup. And in my opinion, Trump orchestrated it. I'm starting to think that not only did he not, like, he might have purposely just set all his supporters up, like get everybody in this group, get everybody worshiping him, sell out to Bill Gates, vaccines, lockdowns, shutdowns, communism. And then his final move was the opposite of what Q said. Hillary and Podesta didn't get arrested. All his supporters got arrested, and they used it to interrogate even me over the Capitol event that I wasn't even at. And he was saying fraud, 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 fraud. And then anybody who repeats what Trump said was getting wiped off Twitter. Trump was like a walking tornado. He might have purposely set people up, or it's like either he's the most foolish person in the world, or he had intel that it was going to be that way, didn't care for selfish reasons, or just straight up set people up. I don't know. I know people don't want to hear that, but at a certain point, it's like, is he the 20-dimensional chess wizard, or is he doesn't know anything? I don't know. It's up for you to decide. Conservative Republic said, cover Floyd Chauvin trial. You're an OG. Keep it real. I like Trump too. Could you shout out my small conservative channel trying to get to you? Well, Conservative Republic, I got you. Thank you for the super chat. I guess people can see that. I might talk about the Floyd case, but to me, I find it very interesting that, the lockdown protests were starting in Huntington Beach, all around the country. People were getting tired of the lockdown. And then the George Floyd thing happened and people got pissed off. And it really also, I think, helped the Democrats a lot when that happened and destroyed the city. So I just find it weird timing that stopped the anti-lockdown protests. And I also find it weird that on the same day that they're rolling out vaccine passports, that they're talking about the Derek Chauvin trial. So I may cover it, but I really do think that it is a diversion to stop the Black community and stop like mainstream liberal white people and stop conservatives who are trying to fight against the narrative, stop them from talking about the most important issue in our country, which is freedom, medical tyranny, vaccine passports, and this idea that, we may be permanent slaves of a system where big pharma can force us to get their new products despite having a miserable track record with ethics. I find it to be quite the distraction. And if you want to know my take real quick, as far as the trial, it's interesting because the body cam footage is very damning to George Floyd. If I'm a lawyer, I'm not emotions. I know people feel certain ways. I'm just saying if I'm a lawyer or I'm a judge or I'm on the trial, I would have to hear more. But before I saw the body cam footage, I was like, that doesn't seem like a smart idea. It was out of context. And I was like, knee on the neck. He's laying there saying he can't breathe. It seemed like he just threw him on the floor and put his knee on his neck, which would not be good for the police officer. But with the body cam footage, if you've watched the body cam footage, it came out months later after they destroyed every major city, obviously, and got millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars to act blue and progressive causes, of course. The body cam footage came out, and George Floyd was higher than anyone I've ever seen. And I'm not trying to be mean and disrespectful, but I've been around some partiers. Listen, I've been to EDM festivals. I've been around kids who do too much Molly in college and stuff. I've been around people who do like drugs at music events and stuff. I've never in my life seen anybody that high besides like a crackhead on the street. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just being obvious. He was higher than anyone I've ever seen because he swallowed a crap load of fentanyl, or so they say, and he was bugging out. So he was just like, he was just like, put me on the ground. He didn't want to sit down. So it wasn't like they just threw him on the ground. They tried to sit him in the cop car, and he wouldn't sit in the cop car. He requested to lay on the ground, which is just bizarre. So the whole thing is just bizarre to me. I'm not, I don't know. I would have to learn more, but before I saw the body cam footage, I was like, I think that officer's guilty. And after I saw the body cam footage, I was like, I don't know. I think he might be innocent, or he might get off on innocent, because that footage is really bad for George Floyd, because he's like freaking out, like won't sit down. No, I want to lay on the floor. I want to, like, that's a lot different than just being thrown on the floor with no other option, which is what happened according to the body cam footage. It's all bizarre. It smells like a setup to me. I'm not saying it's fake, but the whole thing is like a setup. When it happened, how it happened, just the imagery of cop kneeling on black guy's neck. Like it's a nightmare for the American people, and it's a blessing to the Democratic Party and the media. So I don't know how much I'm going to weigh about it, but that's about as much as I know. And I think I feel like, anybody who's a juror is afraid for their life. Nobody wants to rule against this guy because the left-wing mob will be psycho. Either way, they might destroy the cities and people might go loco. So it's just an ugly case all the way around, bad timing, bad everything. I don't know I wouldn't be surprised if it went either way. If he was innocent, I wouldn't be surprised via body cam footage. If it went guilty, I wouldn't be surprised either. Because also, the judge. This is so politically charged. This is not your average case. Everybody feels pressure to say that the Derek Chauvin's guilty. So I don't know. To me, it just seems like a trap. I'm not really super. Conservative Republic said, yeah, he took 2 speedballs right before the police came. That was revealed today. Speedball meaning meth and fentanyl in one pill, race propaganda. Well, you could see in the one video, like it looks like he kind of gulped something. Like my friend pointed it out. It almost seems like you could see him do that. And that's what people do. I don't know if you guys know, but I think that's how Juice WRLD died. He's a, famous rapper who was younger. He died because I think he got off a plane or whatever, and there were cops there, feds there. So he swallowed the drugs. This is a common thing that people do. They swallow the drugs so that they don't want the drugs on them. So if you have illegal drugs, you just eat them and then they don't have them. It's not a smart thing to do, but I guess it works for some people. Oh, I don't have any drugs because they're in your body. So I think that's what George Floyd did. He had all these illegal drugs, or too many, and he's been charged 8 times. I mean, the guy's been in and out, just charged all the time. So I think he ate the drugs thinking, I don't want to get arrested. But fentanyl is crazy. I mean, fentanyl is one of the biggest killers. So I think he took so much that he couldn't freaking function, and it probably killed him. Now, the fact that Derek Chauvin put his knee on his neck and someone got that video, this just makes it a sloppy case. But, I'm glad I'm not a judge or a juror, but that's my take. Someone said Warp Speed and Q are from Star Trek, all Hollywood psyop. Interesting. I didn't watch Star Trek, but if that's true, that is interesting. Desi and Rebecca Desidero, appreciate you guys. No matter what the outcome of Floyd trial, there will be total chaos. Look at the Rodney King trial. It's all highly suspicious and convenient. Yeah, and what's interesting about the Rodney King trial that you brought up is there's this video that Chris Rock has. It's older video, but it's a funny video that's how to not get beat up if you're a black dude or something. It's a Chris Rock, the black comedian. He mentioned the Rodney King trial, and he mentioned how he was resisting arrest or something. But basically, I'd never heard that take, because I've always heard Rodney King, the police, where he was trying to make the thing. He's just don't argue with police and don't resist arrest and don't do anything stupid, and you'll be fine. That's what Chris Rock was saying. So I don't know what happened with the Rodney King thing, because I wasn't alive, but it was so politicized and it started all these riots. But as far as the George Floyd thing, this is not, he's not this innocent guy who just they targeted him. He's been arrested so many times, including for really messed up stuff that he did, that he was in jail for a while. And then he's in and out, just always doing drugs. He was really messed up. I'm not saying it is what it is, but this is where I think Candace is kind of right. I know a lot of even black conservatives don't like it. Some do. But I get what she's saying. Maybe she comes off harsh because she just doesn't care. But I think that video she made has a good point. It's other ethnicities, they don't do that. Where it's it's true. If a white crackhead dies, or somebody like that white dies, no one cares. It's not that we don't care or people don't care. It's just that's not an ideal idol. Making George Floyd an idol is pathetic. Malcolm X, cool guy. Reverend Martin Luther King, legend. You know what I'm saying? George Floyd, putting him in that same regards. Nipsey Hussle, legend. George Floyd, it's not somebody you want to idolize. It's just not. So I think she has a good point there, but a lot of people don't want to hear that. Just like they don't want to hear when Kanye West said slavery is a choice, and it is, because at a certain point, if you go back through slavery, first of all, you have to fall for a trap. Also, there's also people in your own ethnicity who sell you out. So the same black liberals are the same ones who probably would have, been involved in the slave trade. You had to have Africans involved. It wasn't just other ethnicities. So when people say slavery is a choice, it hurts people's feelings. But what he's trying to say is it's a choice, not only to everything's a choice, but if you are enslaved, at a certain point, there were rebellious slaves and rebellious people who made it so you weren't slaves anymore. So that was a choice in their head. And that's Kanye West's mentality. Kanye West is the type where he's I'm not a slave. That's me. I'm nobody's slave. It takes somebody like that to free everybody. So in that way, it is a choice, So the Candace and Kanye mindset with the George Floyd stuff is unpopular, but it's true. It's there's no bigger group that's getting taken advantage of than black activism by liberal politicians and corporate media. And it's not happening for black people's benefit. It's happening for the Marxists and for the communists and for the people who are exploiting. Amazon is going to make billions of dollars. All these companies are just making a fortune on the lockdowns, and nobody in media and politics or big and black, hip hop culture, no one's talking about the lockdowns. I think Lord Jamar, who's like, underground independent. He's talking about it. I'm trying to think of like rappers talking about the lockdowns. Like it's almost nobody. This one, British rapper who's black is following me. I forget his name, but it's like a lot of underground guys who are more free from the corporate label. There are rappers talking about the lockdowns, but not a lot. Not like Eminem. Eminem's pro lockdown, pro mask. It's like they've got the culture by the balls, and that's my message to Black America and in general is like the worst people are puppeting this movement. You're blaming a group of people, but you're following the worst people in that ethnicity. You're following the corporations. You're following these billionaires who have been puppeting rap music for decades to destroy the Black community. And it didn't start on violence. It went hip hop started on break beats and dancing, and then it started on DJing, MCing, and then a lot of it was really conscious. The beginning rap was like fun. It was like party music. Like it came off of like James Brown beat samples, and you have like the Bee Gees type stuff. That's not rap, but I'm just saying like it was like a vibe where people are dancing, having a good time. Like it wasn't some gangster stuff. They made it that, and once a group came out, they just wanted to push that into people's heads. But when hip hop came out, it was never like that. So the worst people are behind the rappers doing all of this crap. So the George Floyd thing is just another distraction from the lockdowns, which in my opinion is literal human slavery. So when Kanye says slavery is a choice, we're getting conned into slavery part 2. What's it called when you can't go to a gym, you can't go to work, your business and restaurant can't open? If you're Black and you live in Harlem and you have a Black-owned business, doesn't it bother you that your friend's business is shut down but Amazon's open? That's real supremacy. That's white supremacy or whatever you want. Like that's supremacy. It's shutting you down, assuming that you can just work out even though you live in a concrete jungle and you live in an area that's not like you don't have a backyard or something, like, oh, just work out in the backyard in the hot tub. It's like not everyone has a hot tub. When you live in the city, you don't have, like, I've lived in a city, there aren't those things. If you don't have a lot of money, like you don't even want to leave the house because it's not a safe area. I've lived in a not safe area. So that's real supremacy is what they're doing with the lockdowns. But no Black activists and NBA players and rappers, nobody's talking about it. It's all about George Floyd. It's all about, whatever, Black Lives Matter, Build Black Better. And it's all being puppeted by a totally different group of people for a totally different reason. But, we know enough about that, and it's just disappointing. That's my thought on the George Floyd stuff. I think what I'm going to do too, just to let you guys know, a little intro. My friend's coming out in a few weeks, and I'm talking about how to help him work with me. I'm going to start a new YouTube channel, I think, which is going to be Anomaly Clips. So I'm going to take little clips of live streams. I'm going to make a new video for people who don't want to watch for 2 hours and just do like a 5-minute thing, like the George Floyd thing. I'm probably not going to do it now, but when my friend comes out, I'm going to work on that, and I'm going to employ him, give him a percentage, whatever. So I'll have a new channel maybe in a couple of weeks. Someone said Build Back Better with 3 6s. It is interesting, isn't it? Build Back Better, 666. If the B's were 6s, yeah, it's very honestly, like the Bible is aging really well, and pastors are aging really well. Where it's like, the original conspiracy theory comes from Revelation. Like like that is like all these things where like people are like, oh my God, the communism, like it's literally in the Bible. Revelation talks about a one world government. You can't buy or sell without the mark of the beast, the 666. That's from a book that's thousands of years old. Like this, it's a conspiracy theory from, Bill Cooper. It's like, no, it's a conspiracy theory from the Bible, which was written, 2000 something years ago, or I don't know exactly the date it was written, but it's like that, it doesn't come from Bill Cooper. I mean, he did a lot of great research. I like Bill Cooper. I'm just saying it comes from the Bible, and it's all happening. It's like, oh, no, that's crazy. We're just going to let Lil Nas sodomize the devil, and we're going to do Build Back Better with 3 6s, and then we're just going to like take over your society. It's like, yeah, it was written in Revelation. It's pretty interesting. I read all of Revelation the other day. There's multiple passages I like in it, but in general, it's definitely a fascinating one. Dr. Gregory said, it's a script. That's why they call it scripture. LOL. It's very interesting, Dr. Gregory. I like that. It's a script. That's why they call it scripture. It's fascinating. I like that. Definitely things that make you think. Fauci means sickle in Latin. Also interesting if that's true. All right, I'm gonna stay for a few more and then I'm gonna take off. Where have I been? Ethan said. I've been here, but here's the drill. I'll let you guys know. If you want to watch my videos on Facebook, you're just gonna have to find them because they're cutting my reach, I feel like, with pictures and videos. But with articles, I could share articles and they'll get a lot of shares. So it seems like they've restricted my videos and pictures. I'm not sure if it's algorithm, everybody, just me. I'm not sure, but you should be able to see my articles when I share them. They get like tens of thousands of shares, which is a lot. The videos, they're getting less views, but also Instagram's getting more views. So I don't know if that's because they're cutting my reach. I think they are on Facebook because I have almost 2 million followers. I should be able to reach more people. But on Instagram, I've been getting like 800,000 views, 1 million views. So I'm not really that concerned because I'm losing a lot of money. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I don't even want to talk about how much money Facebook has pretty much axed when they demonetized me, more than you want to know. But I don't really care. I'm fine. I'll make money other ways. But I care about people seeing it. And if I lose 100,000 views on Facebook and I gain 200,000 views on Instagram, whatever. I'm not making as much money, but you know, it's like the message is spreading so big on Instagram. It's like I got 1 million views, 800,000. So it's almost switched. Now Instagram's bigger than Facebook in certain ways. So that you could always find it, but algorithms change. They do this and that. But I don't know. I don't care. I'm not going to play the victim. I get what they're doing. I'm grateful to still even be here. I mean, they shouldn't get rid of me, but these people are not moral, righteous people. They, you know, exaggerate and lie all the time. So I'm just happy to be here still. You're here. I'm here. We're having a good time. That's all you could ask for. Someone said I might read Revelations. You should. I mean, if you have a Bible, you know, if you don't have a Bible, get one. It's a good book to have anyway. If you don't, if you do have a Bible, it's not that long. Like the Bible is like a big book. So it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I want to read all this. Revelation, last chapter, you could probably finish it in a day. It's very interesting. There's a few standouts in me that I read that it's like, I'm like, man, if I read this, both sides would call it hate speech, or, you know, if I said this, like people wouldn't want to hear it, but that's just the beauty of it. Someone said a Bible app. Yeah, I have a Bible app too. It like sends me a little quote in the morning or something. It's a good time, but I don't read from the Bible app. I read from the book. Someone said anomaly, a few more minutes means 2 hours. It's, you know, if you watch this channel, I'm not good with time. Every time I say I'm leaving, I'm not leaving. If there's one thing I exaggerate about, it's time. I'm like, oh, I'll be here for 2 minutes, and it's like 5 hours. Like, yeah, I'm on APT, anomaly people time, which means, you know, I show up a minute, 2 minutes late, and I overstay my welcome. I'm a terrible guest. Someone said don't leave. Yeah, it's 7:33. I want to do a few things because first of all, if you want these white hats, I just want to show you real quick and let you guys know because I don't know, some people probably just came in, but I have these God Bless hats. They're coming back. This hat is a little bit different than this, same brand. So I'm going to let you know. I think people might like it more because, you know, a lot of people have big heads. I'm not talking like you're full of yourself. I'm just saying like America's a big country. We got XLs, XXLs, but in general, you know, I have a big head too. You know, it takes up a lot of space, but you know, these hats are smaller. This one is a little different. It's bigger. You see what I'm saying? It's bigger. It's a little more truckery. It's going to say God bless. It's a little harder here, but in the back, it's got a Velcro. This one doesn't have a Velcro. These ones are nicer, I think, in the back, but they're really hard to move. But I'm not saying this isn't as nice, but you know, like that, it's like more solid maybe, but a lot of people like the Velcros because my friend was saying, I like your hat, but it doesn't fit my head because my head's too big. He was just telling me that. And I was like, do you like Velcro better? He's like, I love Velcro. Velcro's better. So it's like these ones, it's nice to have metal, but it's kind of hard to adjust. I think people might like these ones more. They're bigger. They probably fit on your head more. And it's easier to actually fit because it's got the Velcro. So that's what it is. But it's the same company. Made in the USA. You know what I'm saying? Made in the USA. I love these hats. I was pissed when they went out. And now they're coming back. They are back. We're doing a pre-order for a week, and then I'm going to buy, I don't know, 200, 400, 1,000. I'm not sure. I'm buying them in bulk. I have a new guy. We're going to stitch them, get them nice. He's going to mail them out, and he's going to take care of customer service because I'm busy. He's a great guy. He watches the channel. He's a supporter of mine, and he's great at what he does with the merch. So he's going to handle it, get it to you. faster. We're going to have way faster than what I was using. It would take sometimes a couple weeks, month, 2 months. I was not great with customer service. He's going to be good, maybe a couple days, a week. It's going to be way faster. But if you order it this week, if you go to dreamrare.com, if you order it this week, it's pre-sale. So you don't expect to get it in a couple days because it's pre-sale. We're buying them next Monday, and then we're going to start shipping the next week. So, they're going to come way faster, but I got to figure out how many people want them, but purchase them by the thousands or hundreds, and then we're doing that. So dreamrare.com. Someone said, make a hat that says Father bless you. I don't know. I like the God bless, and I like it's simple, and I like that. Honestly, when I wear this hat, the God bless hat, I like when people see it and they're like, hey, God, I like that hat. It's a good vibe. And I know, say the MAGA hat. It's iconic, like Trump branding genius. MAGA, incredible. Everybody's parroting it. It's one of the best branding I've seen. But it became inflammatory, and it's not, I think it was exaggerated, obviously, by the media. But if you wear a MAGA hat, it's like, in certain areas, you have to worry what people are thinking. Where with God bless, I'm not knocking it because I think it's good branding, but with God bless, it's not inflammatory. Christian, Muslim, even an atheist, how mad are you going to be at God bless? It's easier. It's nice. I don't like a lot of things. I'm kind of a critic sometimes, but this is why I was so mad when these hats sold out. I was like, I got to find these hats again because they didn't have them in stock. I found them in stock. I got a new guy. I'm pumped. I think it's a cool brand. It's just good energy. It's simple. And that's the type of person I am. I like to get along with everybody, have a conversation. I don't want to come in and inflame and get everyone mad. It might happen naturally, but I like to, the God bless gear is like a good vibe. It's not inflammatory, and it sparks a lot of compliments and conversations of oh man, it just makes you look nice. It's like, oh, when you got a God bless shirt on, you're like, oh, F that guy. You're like, no, I like that. Someone said the pink and the black one. Those are gone for now. I might bring them back, but for now, white hats, dreamrare.com. We have these beanies real quick. Here, I'll show you guys real quick on Facebook. These beanies, look at, and these are thick ones because I'll just let y'all know. These are the God bless beanies. Now they're black beanies if you like beanies. I made sure they're dope because, like I said, I have a big head too. And there were some thin ones that were hurting my head. And I was like, I'm not going to sell these. I can't just sell the trash. I was like, I don't like these. So I got one that was thicker. These ones are thicker. So if you have a big header in general, you don't like when it squeezes your head, like some of them. These ones are thick and comfortable. It feels good. And it's not intrusive because I was like, this one hurts. And I got one that's thicker. So the God bless beanies. And then, we got 2 tank tops. These are my new designs. I made it myself. I'm not a good artist, but it says way too jacked for the gulag. Here, I'll give it on YouTube right there. And it's got a jacked Doge. I think it's pretty funny. So that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? We got the new merch and I'm pumped. Especially because Facebook demonetized me. So I'm like, if I could just start cranking out the merch, make a book, life is good. But no black hats, no pink hats right now. Beanies, white hats, tank tops, that's what we got. And there's one more tank top design that you've already seen. You've seen that, but the tank tops for summer, you get it. That's enough. Dreamrare.com. Someone said gulags for everyone. No, I'm not. I'm getting too jacked for the gulag. My song, I could play it, but it's called Way Too Jacked for the Gulag. Some guy yelled at me and called me he was like, you're a Jew. And I was like, first of all, I'm not Jewish, but also I'm like, what? He was getting all mad. He's like, you're a communist. And I was like, he's screaming at me and just being hateful. And I was like, I'm not trying to organize the gulags. I'm trying to say I'm getting too jacked for the gulag. It's a motivational thing. Let's get too strong, too wise, too jacked for the gulag. We're not going to the gulags. He was he thought I was trying to I don't know. He was spewing racial slurs at me and calling me names. I was like, sorry if that was too much information. I'm just being honest. It's people have accused, sometimes I get accused of things that don't even make sense. And I was like, at least if you're going to be mad at me, make sense. I'm not pro gulag. I'm just saying I'm getting too jacked for the gulag. I think I'm trying to make light of a good situation and get stronger. I don't know. Someone said he missed it. Well, some people are not all the way there. Some people are, you got people that are a little too hyped up on all sides, Someone said Jesus was Jewish. Oh, for sure. I'm not, I didn't say otherwise. I'm just saying that guy said I was Jewish and I'm not Jewish. I'm just giving you context to what he was screaming at me with, but I'm not here hating. I'm just giving you an example. And George Washington was English too. You know, people say Jesus was Jewish. I agree. And George Washington was, you know, an Englishman. But I think what defined George Washington was rebelling against the English. You know, like you could say, well, George Washington was from England. It's like, yeah, but what defined him was the fact that he was American, you know, that he founded America. So I don't think most people remember him as an Englishman. I think they remember him as an Englishman who rebelled and created America. Same way with Jesus, and no disrespect, but it's like, I don't think him being Jewish was like the big thing. I think it was him rejecting against all the other people at the time and being the Messiah. I think that's kind of what defined him, you know, not the fact he was part of a group that he was essentially rebelling against, you know, or rising above to warn people at the time of certain things. Yeah, I don't think that talking point to me is kind of goofy, but whatever. Someone said no one knows what Jesus looked like. Yeah, I mean, I see the paintings, but I don't know. People say he was black. They're like, Jesus was black. I'm like, maybe he was a black Jew. I don't know. Maybe he was like, what are those people who stand on the street and yell at you? Oh, the Hebrew Israelites. Maybe, maybe Jesus was a Hebrew Israelite and he was just pissed off at white people. He was screaming at white Jews and he was screaming at like white Christians. I don't know. Maybe that's what Jesus was. He stood on a box. He was like, we're the real Jews. He's like, F you white devils. And I'm like, damn, I really did not expect Jesus to be a black Israelite, but you know, nothing would surprise me anymore. Jesus was a big Farrakhan watcher. He had a Farrakhan podcast on his iPod. I'm just making crap up to be funny right now. I don't know. Don't take this to the bank. People are like, dude, and I only said Jesus liked Farrakhan. I'm like, no, I'm literally just joking. I don't think that even makes sense, but I got to be careful because I think things are funny, but other people think they're racist. So I got to tone it down. If you want to know what Jesus looked like, ask him. I mean, I like to think I have a relationship with God, but I can't just be like, hey, Jesus, what'd you look like? It's like, bam, and he just shows me. I'm like, oh, thanks, Jesus. Maybe you have that type of relationship with him, which is awesome, but I'm not that close. Like I'm close with God, but he doesn't answer my questions like immediately like that. But if you can figure out what color he was and he'll answer you within 10 minutes, let me know before I leave. Someone said, just purchase a beanie and the hat. Thank you, Pam. So once again, it's a pre-sale. So just be patient. Pre-sale for a week. And then we're going to buy them on Monday, maybe before, but figure it out. I was just thinking about recently too, because I did an interview with somebody today. Like, you know, the craziest people to me on the planet is like not the craziest people, but like people like Sacha Baron Cohen and Howard Stern. Like I grew up, I loved the Ali G show. Before Borat blew up, me and my buddy who was Jewish loved Ali G, you know, and he made really messed up Jewish jokes. My Jewish friend loved it. I loved it because we didn't hate him. He didn't hate himself. It was just funny that Ali G, who was Jewish, was just saying outrageous stuff and just like trolling people. He was pretending to be Middle Eastern. He was pretending to be gay. He was pretending to be, you know, a rapper. Ali G show is hilarious. And then, you know, my mom used to listen to Howard Stern and cut him off when he was dirty. But like Howard Stern was like so grimy. He would say the most perverted stuff all the time. And then Howard Stern is like, oh, Trump says too much. And they're like, you, Howard Stern, have a problem with Trump? Are you kidding me? You're like one of the only people who's like more raunchy than Trump by far. And same with Sacha Baron Cohen. It's like, you've got to be kidding me, right? It's like, oh my God, that's anti-Semitism. We have to take it off the internet. I'm like, bro, your old stuff was 20 times as bad. It's so bad for humanity. These people that were so anti-politically correct rose to fame for being just hilarious. And it was funny. And he didn't make people hate Jewish people more. It was just a joke. Like everyone liked it. No one looked at Borat. It was like, oh, that's anti-Semitism, or like, it's like, it was just funny. It was funny. And you made fun of everybody. And that's just like funny. My bus, we had an Indian kid. We had somebody who was black. We had someone who was Jewish. I lived in a diverse area, and we all liked each other, or we didn't like somebody because of who they were, not, what race they were. And that's just what it is. And people made little jokes, but that's like human nature. It's like, if you're strong enough, you defend yourself if someone goes too far, and that's life. But it's like, we all poked fun at each other, but like, I didn't even know what the word anti-Semitic meant. I had so many Jewish friends, but it's like, they never used that word to anybody. They were never like victim. It's like, that was when America was slightly better, when everybody just like understood that comedy was comedy. Now all these like raunchy comedians are like, oh my God, we need to stop the hate. It's like, F you guys. You guys are the dirtiest, raunchiest, like most not. And then you turn around and act like you're doing this for human nature. This doesn't help. It's like, it's such a joke. And with me, I got to watch what I say. I mean, I don't really, because I don't really care. But it's like, you listen to this live stream, you might learn something, you might laugh, you might agree with me, whatever, you might disagree. But like, I don't think any serious person thinks I'm being hateful. But I just like to, like, I make jokes with my friends that I wouldn't even make on here. Maybe I would once in a while, but like, I don't know. I have one of my better friends right now is Jewish, and he'll say really messed up stuff or really funny stuff about Jewish people. He doesn't hate himself. He's just like it's just funny. Like I don't live in this world. Like, if I said it here, everybody, oh my God, that's anti-Semitic. But if he says it to me, we're cracking up because it's just funny. And same with, like, I have a black friend. We make jokes that if I made, people would say we're racist. So I just don't. I'll talk to my friends and I'll have a good time, and I'll have a good time here. But as far as all this other stuff going on, I don't understand it. Like, if you're saying, I hate these people, I hate every one of them, I don't care who they are, I just hate them. It's like, okay, you're racist. I found the racist. We're always looking for him. I found him. It's this guy who literally hates everybody of this race and ethnicity or religion and doesn't even care who you are and has no friends from that. Okay, we found. But anything more than that, like, oh, you said something I didn't want to hear about donor money in the Republican Party. It's like, that's not racist. That's like factual. And like, if you make a joke and you do a stereotype, it doesn't mean you hate everybody. It just means you're making a stereotype. If you say white people can't dance, you don't hate white people. And it's not necessarily true. It's just a stereotype based on the fact that a lot of white people don't dance and can't dance that well. But some white people are like really good dancers. I don't know. They're out there doing ballerina and like hip hop dancing. But like, on average, I don't know that everyone's like the best dancer. And if you go to other ethnicities, maybe they know more dancing culturally or something, whatever. It doesn't mean you hate people. I don't capitulate, or I don't agree with like, man, you said that. It's like, what if I did make a joke about this ethnicity? All of a sudden now I'm going to be framed as hating everyone ever from that ethnicity. Like, that's not even remotely true. And it's just like, it's so cringe, and that's, to be honest, it's not just the left doing that. That's why I brought up the anti-Semitic stuff, because it's like, or anti-Semitism and how they use the word, it's in the right harder. I have left-wing progressive Jewish friends who will say stuff that if I were to repeat it or I were to say it, they would say it's anti-Semitic on the right. It's like, do they really care about Jews? No, they're just using that word for their political agenda. Like, there's Jewish people who could hear it and handle it and understand it. And there's people who say more than that behind closed doors, because if you're a real person, you're a real person. Like, I hang out with Roseanne. I don't hate, like, okay, I said something about, Jewish donors in the Republican Party. It's a fact. But I could also hang out with Roseanne and crack up, and we don't talk about any of this stuff because it's not like topical. It's like, because I actually like her as a person, and, we just joke about things. So I can't stand that there's people on the right wing trying behind closed doors to call me all sorts of things. And I know they are, because I've heard I don't know. They just don't want to have these conversations. They're like, oh my God, is anomaly alt-right? It's like, I don't even know what that means. Does he hate everybody? No, I hate everybody because I believe in the First Amendment. I hate everybody because I can identify that person paid you to do things that they want you to do for their goals. Like, it doesn't make me a hateful person. I'm so tired of it, but it doesn't really bother me. I don't know. And I think it's just making people reject it that much more. And it's easier to stand out. Like, if you're a comedian that's not a total loser, it's easy to stand out. Ryan Long has been able to build a huge audience. Barricade Garage has been able to build a huge audience. Owen Benjamin has built his own little movement and has a farm. It's like, if you don't bow down to that, there's so much room, no matter what space. You could do your own thing, or you could even be mainstream. I think like Andrew Schultz is pretty big now too, and he does like both sides, but like this ridiculous. It's a blessing in disguise because there's so many losers that it's like just be funny and people want to laugh. It's like mask culture. Oh, I love this. You don't like this. You got to be kidding me. You love wearing 2 masks? Who likes wearing a mask? If you have to do it for work, it's one thing, but like you like it? You love not showing your face and your mouth? No one really likes that. Who likes that? You got to be kidding me. That's like pretending like you don't like funny comedy. I don't like to laugh. I like to be droned by Trevor Noah shilling for the pharmacy industry and like the Democratic Party. Oh yeah, that's really fun. No one likes this crap. Give me a break. Everybody likes raunchy comedians or funny comedians who say relatable things and say things that actually make you laugh about things that are happening. And what's happening? Life, religion, gender, sexuality, women, men. You know, that's the world. So you make fun of it. It's not like no one actually likes this stuff. It's the same with the mask. I don't believe these people are like misery loves company. They're just miserable people and they want everyone to be miserable with them. Joanne said some people are using masks to hide. I heard this from a friend. They said, my friend is like antisocial and they love the masks because they can hide. You know, they don't like people and they're like, they have anxiety. So they love it. You know, it's like the takeover of the darkness. And I'm not saying if you have anxiety, you're dark, but it's like, you know, if I feel this way, everyone has to do what I do. It's like a misery loves company hijack of society, and it's not going to work. And I'm not going to capitulate. Someone said you switched your wall decor around. Well, no, I didn't. Here's the thing. Like on Facebook, I raised it up. So it's actually level and it looks nice. Like if you come in here, but I was using a stand that was lower and it was faced up. So it looked like it was bent and all out of shape and stuff. So I went and bought a stand so I didn't even think about the height, but I was like, I want to look at you in the eyes as far as like looking up, looking down. It was just getting goofy. So I bought the stand. And then once I bought the stand, it raised like eye level. And now you could see like my stuff actually looks good. Like on the Facebook, it looks way better. I didn't change it. I just got a better stand. Because this is all like, you can't really see, but this is pretty far. You see what I'm saying? I have goofy shorts on, I ignore them, but this is far. It's actually really far away. I got to get more stuff because it's too echoey in here. It's far away. Also, it's like an optical illusion. I'm actually tall. I'm like 6'3". When people see me in person, they're like, oh my God, Anomaly, you're so much taller than I thought you were. Because one, I'm usually sitting down, but also my desk, I have a stand-up desk. So this is like 5 feet in the air. You get what I'm saying? I'm tall, but I have a desk that goes up super high. So I look like I'm hella short, but you see me in person, I'm like way taller. It's an optical illusion. I'm like Joe Biden. I'm there, but I'm not there. You know what I'm saying? I make it look like there's a bunch of people behind me, but it's just like artificial intelligence. No, I'm just kidding, but you get it. Someone said, Lord, this is still on. Yeah, I'm going to go in a second, but when you're in the moment and you're here, it's fun. Maybe you just got off work and you pop in and you're like, oh, hey, Namli. I'm like, hey, what's going on? You're like, oh, he's still here. I could listen to him for 10 minutes. Maybe you're a savage and you listen to the whole time. At that point, it's like, dang. No, I'm just kidding. I appreciate you. But, you know, it is what it is. Everyone's like, it's too long. Well, then I got a short video coming tomorrow. Watch the short video. We do it all here. We do a long one. You pop in, you pop out, you leave when you want, you come when you want. It's here. You can watch it. You don't have to watch it. You can catch 5 minutes of it. You can turn it off. That's just we're living in the moment. This is all here. I'm here. You're here. I responded to your comment. Now I'm having a conversation with you. You couldn't do this. Imagine 30 years ago, you're watching television and Pat Sajak just looks at you and says, oh, hey, Jim. And you're just like, they're like, what's up, Jim? You know, this is like a whole new era. We're in the future, folks. We're not going to go to the gulags. We're getting too jacked for the gulags. We're ascending to a better place. I'm not going to allow them to enslave society. We're here. We're live. We're alive. There's red blood flowing through us. We're just going to get stronger. We're just going to get wiser. We will not capitulate to slavery. And that's what we're doing. It's a big party. Who wears masks on the beach? I haven't been to the beach in a while, but when I go to the beach, if I see a mask on the beach, I'm throwing my hat, not at them because that's assault, but I'll throw my hat, just like, I'll just throw it. So they look at me and I'm like, that's why I threw my hat, because you got the mask on. Take it off. Enjoy the air. There's no better place to be than the beach. Stop this. Stop it. I'm just going to go off on people. What's up, Joanne? All right, I gotta go because also I'm supposed to do a live stream every month on Facebook for my supporters, and I'm running out of time. I'm seeing the clock now, Monday, March 29th. I got 2 days. I better get my things together. So thank you, Chuck Norris said, let's talk about E.T. You talking about Entertainment Tonight or E.T. the Alien? I think it was a movie, but maybe you're not talking about any of that. Anyway, I gotta go. I'm sorry, Chuck Norris, not the real Chuck Norris, but Chuck Norris Gun Club. That's his name. That it is what it is. I got to go figure out. I'm going to send a post for supporters only. I got a few things to take care of. Got the merch. We're going to see how it's selling. You already know. I'm pumped. I got the hats coming in. You already see. Velcro time. Velcro gang. You like Velcro? We got Velcro. Bigger hats, bigger heads. You already know. Beanies. Okay. Dreamrare.com. They're limited time, but at the same time, I have a warehouse now, or I'm working with someone with a warehouse. So I'm buying them ahead. No more drop shipping. No more games. Oh, Anomaly, we don't have hats anymore. Oh, I'm sorry, Anomaly, we're out till March. Well, guess what, drop shipping company that I'm not going to name? I'm out. I got my own warehouse, my own thing. I'm buying hats. How many? 200, 1,000, 2,000? I don't know, but I'm going to buy them, and we're going to have more supply, quicker times, quicker delivery times, better customer service. Everything's getting improved, better products eventually. I mean, this is like, I'm not going to say better products eventually, but I like this brand. So I'm just saying, like, I'm not changing. Like, maybe eventually we'll get even other stuff, but I'm not out here selling trash. Made in the USA stuff, dreamrare.com. And that's what it is. And if you order in the next week, just understand it's a pre-sale. So that's the pre-sale. And then once it's open, I'm guessing, I'm not going to make a time, but like some people, it took a month, a couple of weeks. Like, these deliveries should be pretty fast. This guy's going to be faster, better, everything better, faster, bigger, stronger, like the Daft Punk song. You get it. That's what we're doing. Have a good day. Appreciate y'all. I'll be back soon. We got a lot of stuff going on. I'm hyped off the hats. Okay. I love my white hat. Where's the white hat? I want a white hat. You can get a white hat. I'm on the mailing list. Said Dennis, you're going to get a mail. Trust me. I've been holding out. Mailing list, Telegram. I'm shooting it all out like Goku. And I'm like, that sounded a little gross, but you get what I'm saying. I'm pumped. Got the white hats back in. See how it goes. Have a good one. I'll be back soon. Thank you guys for hanging out.